joining later on, so we don't wait for others because already most of them already joined here. Okay, so hi, good morning and good evening, every one of you. Welcome to the SAP Ariba demo session. Okay, guys, before we proceed, let me brief you a little about the training and Manoj's profile so that you'll have a clarity on what we are going to get in the upcoming sessions and from whom you are going to get the knowledge. I mean to say the mentoring. Okay, so first start with Manoj. Manoj is having more than 16 years of experience in procurement. Okay, he worked majorly in SAP MM, SRM, and last almost 9 years he's working in SAP Ariba itself. Right now he's a solution architect in SAP Ariba. He has dealt with so many end-to-end implementations and also support projects. Okay, and apart from his professional career with companies, right now he's working with one of the big four company as a solution architect. Okay, apart from that, he is having a passion to do the knowledge transfer, to mentor different participants, I mean like different consultants from different procurement background. Either you are from SAP MM side or SRM or non-SAP. I mean to say you don't have any SAP knowledge, but you are having a procurement very sound domain knowledge. This course is for you guys. Okay, so the he has already trained more than 2,500 over participants so far with us. Okay, we have completed so many batches. Every batch will have approximately 15 to 20 participants, and we manage them in a very proper and professional way. Okay, the main idea of this training is to to make you understand, not only understanding, to make you master in SAP Ariba, so that in the projects whenever you're going on board on any kind of SAP Ariba project, either it's going to be upstream, downstream, or integration, you should work very comfortably. Okay, and also for them who want to do the transit from SAP MM side to SAP Ariba, okay, it would be very easier for them to face the interviews. You can justify your knowledge in the interviews. Okay, this is what our main goal is here. Okay, and for this particular session we are going to get a complete overview of SAP Ariba, and also we'll be discussing what are the topics we are going to cover in the upcoming sessions, and also the methodologies what we are following, and the material and the soft copies and the access which we are going to share with you. Everything is going to be discussed in this session. But before that, Manoj is going to tell you complete overview of SAP Ariba, how it is, like how it's going to be beneficial for the clients, and as a career aspirants in SAP Ariba, how it's going to be beneficial for your career also. Okay, so for this to make the session more calm and more systematic way, every one of you are in muted state, guys. So we have muted everyone. If you are having any queries, you can write it down somewhere. After the presentation, every one of you will be given a proper chance to ask your questions. All right, thank you so much. I will be on mute. Over to you, Manoj.
Yeah, thanks Eraj for the wonderful intro over there. And as said by Eraj over here, guys, that our sessions are very much different from our competitors. Why? Because most of our competitors basically focuses on making you learn Ariba. Very good, but the only issue is like they will focus you to make as a end user, and we all know that that particular knowledge if we have, that's good to have. Yeah, that's good to have, but with that particular knowledge you cannot work in the project. So what happens is like most of the aspirant, when they will go to the project, there they will face one of the stumbling blocks, because they are not able to work in the project because they don't know what happens in a project. So that our main motto of this particular sessions are to focus on the practicality. That means like what happens in the project. Okay, you are going to learn Ariba, very good, but that particular knowledge which is required to work in the project, that is our main focus. So our focus of this particular training is very simple. That means we will train you in such a way, we'll show you the things in such a way that you can directly go into the project and you can start your project work over there. So in short, basically we are not training over here, as pointed out by Eraj over here. We are basically mentoring all of you over here. That's our main thinking, guys. And as pointed out by Iraj also, all of you are in mute status right now. Why? Because you will be given a chance to ask your question over there. Yes, we do recognize all of you will have some of the questions which will be coming in your mind in between. So what we will do is like we will highly urge all of you guys, keep a notepad, or sorry, keep a notebook with yourself, or open up the notepad while watching this particular sessions. If you're having any queries, write it down over there, because we are going to take the question answer session. And yes, we will take your questions over there. There is no way we are not going to take any question, because we love question. Why? Because we love mentoring over here. Yeah, not training. Exactly. And the third thing, and why we are doing this thing is like, because you will see we are using our knowledge from a project exposure, not from anything else. So that particular flow will get broken in between if the questions come over there. So what we are going to do is like we are going to show you the content, what are the things, what are the knowledge which are required over here, and then basically we will have the question answer session. And the third point is, please don't consider today's session over here, guys, that hey Manoj, today's session is a demo session, it's not of value. No guys, please don't think like that. Today's session is a very very important session. Why? Because this is the stepping stone. Even if you come to our first session over there, we will say go through the demo sessions. Why? Because in the demo session, basically we will build up the things based on which from session one we will carry on forward. Exactly. So please don't think like today's session is just for the sake of seeing. No, this is very very important. Okay, so enough talking about that particular thing, guys. Excuse me, guys. So let's go into the training session. And once again, welcome to our Ariba sessions over here, guys. Okay, so the first thing which you all of you are going to see over here is, what is Ariba? This is a question which all of you are going to have in your mind. Hey Manoj, what do you mean by Ariba? Okay, what do you basically mean by Ariba? Tell me, because whenever I will ask somebody what is Ariba over there, they will say some technical words over there, which all of us basically will think what is happening over here. Okay, so simply, if you ask me, guys, what is Ariba, I will say Ariba is a procurement solution which is based on cloud services. Very simple. Okay, Manoj, how do you came to this particular conclusion? From the project. I'm not talking about what is Ariba from the SAP Praise book or from the standard SAP books. This is not theoretical things. If you go to your client is asking you, what is Ariba? What is this Ariba things all about over there? So you have to just say Ariba is a procurement solution based on cloud services. Immediately your client will basically ask, what do you mean by cloud services? Immediately you have to say, boss, you're using already ERP right? Within ERP you're having so where ERP is installed? In a server which is placed in your premises, that means bracket client's premises. Exactly. So the server is under whose control? Your control. Exactly. So you control the software over there, you need to just install it. Cloud service on the other hand basically means what? The service provider over here will have that server or data center within which the software will be installed. That means you don't have to maintain the server. Just like Gmail, when you want to use Gmail, do you have to install any browser? Sorry, do you have to install any database application? Exactly. No. Why? You just click on browser gmail.com, you give your user ID password, then you are using the services of Gmail. Same thing is for on cloud services. Remember, this is not only true for Ariba, but this is also true for all on cloud services software. Very good. Now I'm not going to basically uh, theoretically talk about what's the difference between on cloud services and what, and basically the what you can say basically what you can say, like the on-premise services, because that thing is too much easy to discuss over there. Anybody can go into the internet and you can see it, understand it. Exactly. But why I was talking about on cloud, because you have to remember Ariba is a on cloud software. That means no server will be present within the client premises. No software is needed to be installed over there. That means no basis consultant. The next question which all of you are going to ask me is, Manoj, who will do this activity? Installation, roles, user ID creation? No, there is no basis consultant, guys. We have to do it. There's only one guy, who is working in the project, and that is Ariba functional consultant. Yes, I said, no, sorry, my wrong. Not one guy, one role. Yeah, there will multiple guys over there. All will be Ariba functional consultant only. There is no technical role over here, no basis role, only Ariba functional role. Keep this thing in your mind. Very good. Okay, what's the next thing? The next thing which all of you can see over here is, if you want to learn something new, guys, you always have to focus on one thing. And what's that particular thing? That particular thing is, what is the history? If you want to learn about the future, it is always better to focus on the history. Why? Because within the history, you will find what will happen in the future. Yeah, very important observation. Now, all of you are going to say to me, Manoj, this particular points, if I look at it over there, the other trainers also say over there. And I will say, yes, these are common facts, guys. But the issue is not the fact. If you just look at your palm over there, palm of your hand over there, okay? In one side, if you're looking, okay, same thing. But if you look from a different view on the same palm only, what will happen is like your vision will change. You will see more information in a very different way. So that is what our main goal over here is, guys. That is, in a simple way, if you ask me, these points are universally known to everybody. Yes, but what you can conclude from this point, that is the major thing. So let us talk about these particular points which we know already, but we will also see the conclusion. That particular thing, very very few people have known. Now, Ariba is not a new company. Exactly, Ariba is not a new company. Ariba was actually founded in 1996. Very good. Excuse me. So at that time, Ariba used to sell basically on-premise solution, pretty much like SAP ERP, SAP SRM solutions over there. So Manoj, when Ariba came out with cloud solution, it was in 2010. Very good. So remember, still Ariba was not an SAP company. When it became an SAP company, guys, it become it became in 2012. This is a very important thing which all of you should remember over here. That is, SAP bought out Ariba in 2012. Now, what's the conclusion from this point? What's the conclusion from this point? All of you are going to say that, Manoj, we understand this thing, but what is the conclusion? So the conclusion over here for all of you to remember over here is one thing, guys. That is, Ariba was bought by SAP in 2012, but Ariba launched this cloud solution in 2010. That means probably it was developed in 2008, 2009. At that point of time, Ariba was not an SAP company. Now, most of you who are coming from ERP background or SAP background or SRM background over there, excuse me, most of you will make a mistake. If you think the way you have been doing your implementation in ERP and in SRM, in the same way, if you are trying to do this particular thing over here in Ariba, why? Because the technology is different, the architecture is different, the solutioning part is also different. Plain and simple. This is the main mistake which all of the participant generally tries to do. So that is why whenever we are training on the first day in the demo session only, we will warn them over there, don't try to do this mistake. So this is the conclusion which we can get from our what? Basically from this point. Exactly. That is my point, guys. Because everybody knows about this particular thing, but the conclusion is the one of the most important thing. Yeah. Now, Ariba basically is an internet-based tool. Actually, most of the ERP solutions are internet-based tools. Very good. But Ariba will have two UI, two user interface. Excuse me, guys. Two user interface, Manoj, for what? Regarding what? So the answer is plain over here, guys. That is, if your ERP application, SRM application, Ariba applications all are not based on internet, so how you will access it? So everything is based on internet access over there. Very good. But you're also having two user interface. Manoj, what are the two user interface used for? For logging into the Ariba system. Okay. So two user interface for whom to log in? One is for buyer, another is for supplier. Now, all of you are going to say, Manoj, buyers and suppliers. I think let us talk about a little bit on the buyers. Who are the buyers? So buyers are the purchasers, guys. Actually, you can say internal employees of your what client who will basically order the goods and services. Exactly. So they will log in into the UI which is called as Ariba buyer. Okay, there is another UI which is called as Ariba network. Now this is separate user interface to log in. For whom? For the supplier. Now supplier is basically the third party software, guys. Not software, third party user who will basically deliver the goods and services to the client. Very good. Not an issue, Manoj. So that means you are saying buyer will log in into Ariba buyer, supplier will log in into Ariba network. Why? Why two different application or two different URL has been provided by Ariba itself? Because of one thing, guys. If you look at SRM, if you look at ERP, one of the major issue in using the portal, basically the client will say, okay, how system is going to identify user between purchaser or a supplier? We will say by roles. All of you can agree on that particular point by the help of roles. Now, tomorrow, roles who will give? Basis consultant or security consultant will give them, right? Now somebody makes a mistake. Bidder role they have given, purchaser role also they have given. What will happen in production? That bidder will be able to access the purchaser documents. Internal information which should be internal to the client organization is visible to the supplier. This can happen. This is one of the major security issue. So Ariba knew about this thing. So you will see that Ariba solutions are much more advanced. Why advanced? Because they have used common sense over there. They have not used Ariba, engineering jargons, a technical thing in engineering. They have used the functional thing, basically the business process, ease of business process. That is their main motto over there. So that is why they have given two user interface. Here they will say, boss, supplier will log in into Ariba network, buyer will log in into Ariba buyer. So they don't have to differentiate who is a buyer, who is a supplier, because once somebody is logging into supplier.ariba.com, that is Ariba network over there, they know this is a supplier only. Buyer will not log in over there. Similarly, if buyer is logging into Ariba buyer, they will know this is a buyer. Why? Because supplier will not get access over there. Done. Security issue solved. Excuse me. Yeah. So keep this thing in your mind. And Ariba network is the world's largest business to business network. Currently, almost 3.6 million supplier unique, 3.6 unique, 3.6 million unique supplier is present in your Ariba network, guys. That basically tells the story of Ariba right now. I think all of you can understand. 3.6 million supplier It's a huge thing. Even Amazon is not having that particular kind of thing. Exactly. Now, if you look at the total value of the PO and invoices which has been exchanged between the clients, that client means basically buying organization, and the suppliers, that is over 1.5 trillion dollar in 2019 itself. Total value for all the clients sent to the supplier, all the suppliers, 1.5 trillion USD in 2019. That tells volume. Yes, this year it is going to be little bit less. Why? Because of this coronavirus. Why? Because when the business, when the lockdown started over there, what happened was like all the ordering was reduced over there. But you can still understand 1.5 billion dollar is not the same thing. Exactly. Now, okay, Manoj, enough of this thing, but this is basically to understand the basics of Ariba network or Ariba over there. But I want to go into the solution. As you said, Manoj, project solutioning part. That is my goal, right? Functional consultant. And I will say exactly correct. Exactly. That is my point over here. Okay. Now, first of all, no, guys, this is not a recorded session over here. I think the thing is like, as I said to all of you guys over there, that please do wait out over here. That's the first thing. And the second thing is like, we will take your question answers over there. But in between, if you ask me the question, you will, you will understand that why I was saying that in between the content, will get affected if I take the questions over there. Exactly. Excuse me. Yeah, you will see, you will understand within 5 minutes only. You will understand that what I was talking about over there. That why the content will get reduced over there or it will get affected. Yeah. Now, if you can see the solutioning part, Ariba solutioning part is in given in two way: upstream procurement and downstream procurement over there. Okay, upstream and downstream. Okay, Manoj, let's read it. Long-term procurement organization timely, ensures timely supply of goods and services that is critical. Blah blah blah. What is this, Manoj? Okay, let's go to downstream. Operational procurement deals with meeting. Blah blah blah. What is this, Manoj? You said is a practical session. Then why this particular thing is coming in theoretical knowledge? So I will also say very good, guys. Very good. So this is what I wanted to show to all of you. This is what you will get when you will go to any end user training. They will just copy and paste it from any standard SAP books and they are going to read it. None of you will understand what is the meaning of it. But we are not going to do that. So let me get off this PPT. Let me open up something very simple. What can that be? Notepad. Now focus on the notepad, guys. Okay, now I think all of you are sure enough over there that we are not copying it from anything from the books. Exactly. Now here everything I will tell you guys, it will be from the project. Exactly. So I want all of your undivided attention over here. Now first thing first. Okay, procurement. If you ask me about procurement and if you want to divide that particular procurement in a two most important category from the business point of view, I'm not talking about technical point of view, business point of view, they will always say one is uh, sorry, old products, and the second one is new products. Okay, Manoj, new products and old products. Okay, what does it means? It means it's like old products means basically this particular product you have already buy it for your buying organization. Buying organization basically means client who is implementing Ariba. Exactly. Very good. But new products means the products, that means the goods and services which you have not bought before for your client. Plain and simple. Okay, Manoj, but what's the difference? You have told us all this particular thing over here, Okay, but I just want to know what's the basically the difference over here. The difference over here, which all of you should understand, is old product is present within your Ariba system. Data is present. That means data is present means what? Which data? That means this particular product you will buy from which supplier at what price? Exactly. So what do you mean by this thing? That means this will have the source of supply. That means you can say source of supply is known and the product is also known over there. Not an issue. Okay, let's move on to the new product. Let's move on to the new product over there. New product means you have never bought it before. So all of you are going to say, "Arey bhaiya, what is this? I have not bought before. So what I will do? Can you start ordering to that particular supplier?" Of course, no. Of course, no. Why? Because you don't know who is the supplier. At what price you will, basically buy this particular.
Hi Manoj. Manoj, we lost your voice. Okay, guys, one second. Huh? Just a moment. Yeah, the same here. We are unable to hear him. Yeah, Manoj, are you there? I think there is some, audio disturbance over there. Just a second, guys. Be on hold. I just call him and update you. Just a moment. Guys, 2 minutes. Okay, Manoj lost his internet connectivity, so we'll be connecting in 1 minute or 2 minutes only. He'll be connecting with a different server. Thank you.
Uh, Iraj, am I audible now? Can you please confirm?
Yes, yes, Manoj, you are audible and also your screen is visible.
Actually, this due to this lockdown over there. Okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
especially
Usage of internet.
almost, yeah, especially today is Sunday over there, and almost today's 26th July, right? So basically,
Yeah,
due to that particular thing, I
mm,
think the internet usage is like anything, so it got disconnected over there. So
yeah.
actually, I have
No,
to use the mobile hotspot over there.
yeah, that's a better option. Yeah, thank you so much, Manoj. Yeah, we can carry on.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, yeah,
guys, we are back now. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, Eraj, for the information. Yeah, let's guys, go on with our session over here. Yeah, now, as basically we were seeing over here, new product basically means of what? Source of supply is unknown. That means we don't know about that particular product. If we don't know about this particular product, so what we will do, or how we will buy this particular product? So this is a big issue for all of you to remember. Now, all of you are going to say, hey Manoj, I have read standard Ariba books. I have never found out this terminology which you're talking about, new products and old products. Yes, exactly correct. This is not a terminology over there, guys. Because if I would have used the technical terminology, all of you would have basically thought like, what is this technical thing? But now I think all of you can understand in a very simple way, old product and new product. But the technical terminology for using this particular thing is, sorry, catalog items. This is a technical terminology, guys. Similarly, for the new product, It is non-catalog items. That is basically, you can say guys, the correct technical terminology over there in Ariba. Okay, so these are the two major type of procurement which you will be doing over there according to business. Now, as we were talking about the solutions, okay, upstream solutions and downstream solutions. Okay, in very simple way, Manoj, what is the meaning of upstream and downstream solution? So in upstream solutions, what we will do is like basically we will do procurement of new products. Now we are damn sure over here, guys. Just a moment. That we cannot do the procurement of new products like anything. Why? Because we have to find a source of supply. Then we have to sign a contract with that particular source of supply, right? That means that particular supplier. So where it is done? It is done in upstream. So always remember, upstream is nothing but the procurement of new products where finding and is of main importance. Okay, I'm not saying that is the only work. I'm saying that is not the only work over here, guys. Okay, this is not the only work, but I'm saying this is of paramount importance or the main importance over here in upstream. That means whenever you're finding a new product, अरे भैया, we will basically find the source of supply, we will finalize the particular source of supply, and then basically we will award that particular or basically we will sign the contract with that particular supplier, right? That is our major thing. Yes, I'm not saying that is the only thing, but that is the major thing. So please remember, guys, please don't say, Manoj, you said only this thing will be done. No, but what I'm saying is like main priority of upstream is this. Exactly. Now let us go into downstream. Now when you will go to the downstream part over here, so here you will see it's nothing but a procurement of old products. Mainly, once again, mainly. I'm not saying 100%, mainly. Why? Because here source of supply must be known for beginning the process. So always remember, in downstream, always remember one thing over here. Whenever you are doing this particular products over there, procurement of the old products, always remember that means source of supply must be known. Now, yes, I'm not saying 100% that it will always happen like this, because most of you will then say, who have basically worked in Ariba, Manoj, we can also procure non-catalog items. Non-catalog item basically means we can also procure old products, new products also over here. Yes, guys, but that is basically a exception procedures. First, when you will go to any project, are you going to target the mainstream process or the exceptional process? So always keep this thing in your mind. Whenever you're going in an implementation project, first target the mainstream process. Once you have perfected the mainstream process, then you go to the exceptional scenario. Otherwise, exceptional scenario will get implemented, not the mainstream scenario, and mainstream scenario will be mostly be used. And what will happen? The solutioning which you will give to the client, there basically your solution will be faulty. Because I have literally seen many clients is generally calling me and not actually calling me, basically calling the vice president of our organization, and they are saying what has happened is like your Ariba consultant came, they basically did it, and now what is happening is like most of my end user is choosing non-catalog items in downstream. Why it is happening? That is against my procurement policy. Then I will go and I will see that the Ariba consultant over there has put main focus on what? The exceptional procedure, the mainstream procedure which is there, that they have not configured properly. So end user, they will not know anything about Ariba, guys. So whatever this Ariba functional consultant will show them, they will follow that thing blindly. So that is why knowing the process as well as the mainstream process is your first main headache. Once that is done, then 10% of the headache is exceptional procedure, but that can be handled later on also. It's not a big deal. Exactly. And as I told to all of you guys that we will be unmuting all of you over here, guys, but please wait your turn over there. Yeah, once we have completed the content, at that time we are going to unmute you over there. So if you are having any queries or question on this part, please do write it down somewhere. We are going to take your queries. Exactly. Yeah, thanks for your understanding, guys. Now, very good, we understood about the upstream and downstream over there from a normal point of view. Exactly. So what are the other things which we need to see over there? The next thing is basically, guys, the sub solution. What is that particular thing? That means for upstream and downstream solutions, you will have different modules present over there, right? Exactly. So let us try to understand that thing. First is the sourcing. When you will say sourcing, Manoj, what is sourcing? In a simple way, sourcing is nothing but your tendering process. That means you will have some requirement, and basically you will ask from the quotation from the supplier, select the best quotation, award it. Done tendering. But if you look at the sub processes of tendering over there, you will see RFI, RFP, and auction. Correct? RFI basically stands for request for information. RFP stands for request for proposal. Auction. RFI means what? All of you, I think, who are coming from background or SRM background, he will say request for information means, Manoj, we are asking for technical specifications. Exactly. That's the first thing. Okay, Manoj, not an issue. What's the next thing? The next thing is basically, guys, RFP, request for proposal. What does it mean, Manoj? Here basically we will give the real requirement and supplier will give us the price quotation. In RFI, they will give the technical quotation. Very good. And auction, basically we will do a live auction for the different suppliers, and who will give the less price will win the auction. So this is the meaning of RFI, RFP, and auction. And if you take this particular meaning like this and you go to implement Ariba like this, you're gone. Why? Because I told all of you the meaning of RFI, RFP, auction from ERP, from SRM point of view. Why I told this thing? Because all of the consultant who will come in our session, they will have a feeling like this: RFI, then RFP, then auction. No, because the first thing which your client is going to ask to you in that particular session is, or when you will go for implementation, when I will go for RFI, when I will go for RFP, you tell me that particular thing first. Please don't tell me RFI always I have to do, then RFP I have to do, then auction I have to do. So in that case, you have to differentiate when you have to do RFI, when you have to do RFP. Now just take for example, I'm giving you a scenario. You are implementing Ariba for Dell. Excuse me. Right? You're going for Dell. Now once you're going for Dell, what will happen? Let's say Dell is basically launching a new laptop. Exactly. So if you're doing a procurement for that new laptop, what it will be, RFI or RFP? Now over here, all of you will basically take a guess that Manoj, it will be RFI. Why? It's a new laptop. But in this particular thing, guys, in this particular scenario, you're forgetting that you're looking at the new laptop from a customer point of view. You should look when you're trying to implement a procurement process for Dell from Dell's point of view. For Dell's point of view, are they Are they doing something new? They don't know anything about laptop. They don't know what is the screen which is to be used. They don't know what is the processor to be used. They don't know what is the RAM to be used. They know all of these things. So how can you say it's a new product for which they don't have any knowledge? So that's the difference. Okay, Manoj. That means in this scenario, even if it is a new laptop, it will be RFP. Yes, because that is a existing line of product for Dell. Now, if Dell is tomorrow going into the ready to eat food meals or ready to eat meals in that particular department, so there basically Dell will say, hey boss, I don't have any idea about it. I have never prepared this kind of thing. So in that case, I have to know from the supplier what is the different technical challenges which I have to face. Why? Because food packaging industry, ready to eat meals, basically it will have a lot of technical challenges over there, and we have to make sure that we are not producing a food basically which will be bought by our customer and they will fall ill. So in that case, you cannot go ahead with RFP, RFP over there. You have to go with RFI. This is the small things. Okay. Now auction. Yes, every time we will do auction after RFP. Why? Because let's say you want to buy a smartphone. Okay. Today, let's say you want to buy a smartphone. So all of you will say to me, hey Manoj, I'm having basically a smartphone. I want to buy a smartphone over there, and different companies are coming. Huawei, basically Samsung, okay, and then basically LG. So everybody is giving a higher quote. Your expectation is somewhere around 200 USD, and all the suppliers are giving you quotation somewhere around 700 USD, 800 USD, 1000 USD, and you are thinking, hey boss, what is this? There's a huge difference. My expected price is around 200 USD. These guys, all of these suppliers are giving me 1000 USD. Why they are giving me 1000 USD? Then he will tell them, boss, see, the price you're giving is very much high. So I am calling you for a live bidding over there. Okay. And your base price is the price which you have quoted in RFP. Then anyone from you who will give me the lowest price, I will basically award you that particular sourcing project. So what will happen is, like, let's say Huawei has given 800 USD. It will automatically come as the original bid. Okay. Samsung has given 700 USD. It will come automatically. Okay. And then basically LG has given 900 USD. It will come automatically. So among three of them, they will fight among each other to give the lowest price. Who will give the lowest price will win the auction. That is basically this differentiating factor between RFP and auction. That means there is a significant difference in the expected price of that particular product from the business organization's point of view versus the supplier quotation. Then only you will go ahead with auction. It's not like, hey, every RFP will be, we will be going into auction. Exactly. So when we will go to the sourcing process, you will see, once again we are recapping this particular scenario. Then basically you will understand what is the meaning of full project, what is the meaning of quick project, all those particular things. Because if you don't understand what is the meaning of full project and quick project over there, full project, quick project are Ariba terms which you are going to see in this screen over there. If you don't understand the meaning, if you don't understand the difference between these three sub processes, you will not be able to select which one, quick or full, which one to use over there. So that is why it's very important for all of you to remember what you are doing over here. Exactly. Very good. Now, once your sourcing has been done, what you can say over here, because the end result of sourcing is basically the awarding part, guys. Simply the awarding. So once you have done the awarding to the supplier, what will happen? You have found out the source of supply. So next thing is basically you have to do the contract. Why? Why? Because of a very simple thing. And that particular simple thing is, have you ever bought a laptop or a smartphone without any bill? Ever? All of you will say no. Why? Why you have not basically buy the laptop or the smartphone without any bill? Because all of you will say, hey Manoj, if I need that particular thing to be serviced, if it's having an issue, I will go to the servicing center. They will say, please give us the bill. That is why, because it is used as a legal document to show that you are the legal owner of that particular product. Similarly, what is contract? It's a legal agreement between buyer and supplier. Otherwise, tomorrow supplier will say, hey boss, I think I am at a loss supplying you all this particular product. I will not supply you. You cannot do anything. Okay. So this is the contract. So all of you will say, okay, very good, Manoj. And within the contract, you will see there are two main tasks: contract authoring and contract task completion. These are the two things which we are going to see. By the way, when I said contract, it means contract management. Why? Because you will see in Ariba, there is two part of contract. Right now, we are talking about contract management. Exactly. There is another part also. Exactly. Very good. Now here also I want to point out one thing, guys, which majorly your end use trainer basically who will give you the end user things, they will not say. They will basically be, what you can say, like, they will not mention this particular thing at all. So all of you are going to say, Manoj, why? Or where, why I'm not going to do this particular thing? Because they don't want to talk to you about this thing, because most of them will train you on DFS. What is this DFS and ECA, Manoj? So DFS and ECA are nothing but the technology which we are using over here, guys. Now all of you are going to say, Manoj, DFS, what do you mean by DFS? So DFS basically stands for desktop file syncing, nothing else. Very good, guys, not an issue. ECA means enhanced contract authoring. But why you said that nobody is going to talk about it? Because they are going to make you learn everything on DFS part. And what's the issue with DFS? DFS has been made obsolete from 2017 onwards. That means if you go into the project, everything you will see in the contract section is ECA part. Now, remember, it's not a small thing. Why? Because he will say, Manoj, that is just a way of doing the contract or publishing the contract. And I will say, exactly, guys, but remember how we will do the configuration in upstream. The configuration in upstream is basically done it from a template point of view. So the ECA template is also an important thing over here, guys. Exactly. So if you look at the contract template configuration, DFS process will have a separate template, ECA process will have a separate template. And if you have learned the DFS template, first of all, they will also not talk about template configuration. Why? Because that's quite a complex thing. And that is one of the major thing in your configuration within the upstream part within your project. Exactly. So we are going to see those things. But in addition to that, let me tell you, DFS process flow on the contract part and DFS template configuration. If you've learned these two things, you can go into the project and you will be shocked to see that nothing is matching over there. None of the thing is same. Everything is different. Why? Because DFS has been made obsolete from 2017 onwards. Right now, if you go to the project, you will see only ECA, enhanced contract authoring. And this particular thing, client does not know. Client will not know. Even your interviewer might not ask you. Why? Because very few people know about it. But when you will go into the configuration in the session, not session, basically in the screen, Ariba buyer screen. So there, when you will access it, you will see the templates are totally different. You cannot configure anything. Why? Because you're not understanding the things. That those options are not available to all of you. Why? Because of this thing. In our sessions, as well as the system which we will provide to all of you guys, Those are basically ECA compliant, enhanced, enhanced contract authoring. Exactly. So this is one of the added advantage. That is why I said, guys, this is basically a practical session, because those things which has been made obsolete by Ariba, we will automatically remove those things in our system, in our sessions also. The current most stable versions, which basically have been released by Ariba, those things only we are going to see in our session. Why? Because whatever we are doing in the project, same thing we are also learning within our sessions. Exactly. Now, once you have done the contract, very good. But before that, all of you should ask me, supplier lifecycle and performance management, what is this module used for? So this particular module is basically used for onboarding supplier. This is one of the most important thing. Manoj, why you did not start the upstream with this particular module within the upstream solution? Generally, most of the what you can say trainer, they prefers to start with SLP, but we also used to do the same thing, I think 1 year ago, and then we have basically stopped. Why? Because we closely align our system with that of the project implementation, and project implementation depends on Ariba solution. So Ariba basically has moved the SLP in such a way that it is majorly impacting your master data integration right now, rather than saying just it's a onboarding supplier in Ariba module over there. So you can say right now SLP is one of the most important master data integration, or part of the most important master data integration. So that is why what we are going to do is, like, we are going to cover SLP during our integration session. Why? Because if I just cover the end user part over there, then I can cover it in the upstream part. But if you want to see the real implementation of SLP, which the functional consultant will do in the project, that particular thing we have to handle it from an integration point of view. Why? Because most of you will understand, when you will go to a project, your suppliers are already present in SAP ERP, ECC 6.0 or S4 HANA over there. They are already present over there. So what you have to do is, like, you have to do a mass data load. That means you will be bringing those pre-existing supplier into Ariba over there, from ERP to Ariba over there. That would be the major challenge which all of you are going to face. Why? Because you have to work on 5,000 supplier, 10,000 supplier, even 20,000 supplier. And for big project, it would be somewhere around even 50,000 supplier. So how you're going to do that? That particular thing is our main goal over here, not the end user part. Hey, this is the screen. Okay, within this screen, you will enter this data. Next, save. No, not that thing. How you're going to bring those 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 supplier? How you're going to do it? So that is basically called as the SLP mass data load. That we are going to have a look at it in detail, explain to all of you what is the process, what the steps, and what's the issue which all of you are going to see. Next is, you will see within SLP there are different processes: supplier request, then registration, then qualification. Manoj, why this three process? Why this three process? All of you are going to ask me why it is a three process part. Because onboarding a supplier, why you are doing it into three sub processes? What extra things is there? Just like, if you go to any pizza shop over there, okay, so the first thing is, like, we are going to ask them, hey, what is special in this pizza? Why you have made this so costly? That we are having something extra within it. They will say, what extra? Same thing, what extra over here? Why three sub processes? Why not one process? So you have to remember the supplier concept. As I said at the beginning, guys, supplier is logging into Ariba network. That means what? Is it just a different URL? No, it's a different application altogether from Ariba. 3.6 million suppliers present over there in Ariba network, guys. So you have to remember Ariba buyer and Ariba network are two different application. What next? So Ariba network will basically ask that, Manoj, you are saying ABC supplier. Very good. There are hundreds of ABC supplier available in Ariba network. To which particular ABC supplier I will send your PO? Now all of you are basically thinking, this is a correct question. So how we will uniquely identify a supplier? We will uniquely identify a supplier in Ariba network with the help of ANID. Exactly. So always remember, if you want to uniquely identify a supplier, just understand its ANID. So ANID is generally done with the help of supplier name plus email ID, both. So if your supplier is having Ariba network ID, then no issue. Whenever you will use that particular supplier in your transactional document, it will smoothly get transmitted to Ariba network, from Ariba buyer to Ariba network. Similarly, the supplier can also send their transactional document back to you. But if the Ariba network is not, ANID is not created for the supplier, that is where all the hell will break loose. So request means what? You're just taking some of the basic data about the supplier, email data, address data, phone, and all those things. But you cannot use this particular supplier in Ariba. Why? Because this supplier does not have a ANID. So in registration process, basically you will ask the supplier, which basically has completed the request process, that boss, you register in Ariba network over there. A mail will get triggered to them. Once they trigger, click the link on that mail, they will register themselves in Ariba network, Ariba network over there, create their credentials. Then a ANID will get generated. The same ANID will flow into Ariba buyer within the supplier profile. Then you can start using the supplier. Very good, Manoj, very good. But what is the meaning of qualification? Now qualification, if you're not having good idea about the supplier or basically the Ariba architecture, you won't be able to justify what is qualification. Because all of us, all of my what you can say, friends, they have basically given me ridiculous opinion about why qualification is required. Qualification actually means you are going to qualify a supplier using a commodity code and the region. Very good, Manoj. What's the need of it? Is it mandatory? Yes, it is mandatory. Why? So that this supplier can be replicated to downstream. Wait one moment, wait one moment. What you said? So that this supplier can be transmitted to or replicated to downstream? Yes. Is it correct? Exactly. What does it mean? So, Manoj, I thought like, you were talking about this upstream and downstream solution as two different solutions, right? From your point of view, guys, I am basically asking myself that particular question. Okay. Exactly. It's a, it's a easier way of, you know, making all of you understand this particular process. Excuse me, because this is the same thing which will be going in all of your mind over there. Same thing also went into my mind. Yeah. At the starting of my career. Yeah. 8 years ago. Now, uh, downstream solution, upstream solution is part of Ariba buyer. Manoj, but that is just a solution. Yes, you should understand that that is just a solution, but there is a small string attached to that. Yeah, it's a part of Ariba buyer. But having its own DB. DB means what? Database. So you can say upstream means it's a part of Ariba buyer. It's not a separate application, but its database is own. That means, Manoj, if you go to downstream, and here also if you write the meaning of this thing, he will also write the same thing, and I will say exactly. Downstream is also part of Ariba buyer, but it is also having its own database. Many Ariba consultant are still not able to justify why qualification is required. This is the major thing. And you will see there is another module. That module also they are not able to justify to the client. They will be saying, hey, it is not required. Qualification is not required. But why qualification is required? Because SLP is part of your Ariba upstream. Upstream means in its database, once you do the registration, then you can use this particular supplier in sourcing, contracting, and all those things. But if you want to start ordering against that particular supplier in downstream, there you will get an error. Why? Because the supplier is not replicated. So you have to qualify that particular supplier. Once you qualify that particular supplier, what will happen is like, then only the supplier will basically be replicated from upstream to downstream. That means upstream database to the downstream database. Very good, Manoj. So after qualification, we can say that the supplier is what? Replicated to downstream. But what about this particular contract? Because this contract I want to consume. Now you are saying since upstream is having its own separate database, so contract is published in upstream, but I have to consume this contract in downstream. Consume means basically start ordering against it. How we can do that? So something unique we need, right? Something unique we need over here. And I will say to all of you guys, yes, there is something unique which has been provided by Ariba itself. And what is that particular thing? Contract compliance. Okay. Manoj, what we will do with this contract compliance over here? So this contract compliance acts as a bridge between upstream and downstream. Very good. Okay, through which not everything can pass. Only contract will pass. So that is why I said to all of you guys, in contract in Ariba, you are having two part. One is the contract management part and another is the contract compliance part. Contract management basically is used to publish your contract between the buyers and suppliers, set all the terms and conditions, price and all those things. Okay, publish it. Once you publish that particular thing, you have to basically move this contract where? From your upstream to downstream. Okay, so in that case, basically what you have to do, you have to use the contract compliance. Now if you ask any good Ariba consultant also why we need contract compliance, why we need supplier qualification, they won't be able to tell you. They will say the advantages, but if you ask them why we need it, they won't be able to justify it. Why? Because majorly, guys, Ariba consultant don't know that upstream and downstream is having it. They are having their own separate database. And why this particular thing is done? Because this is how Ariba's architecture has been designed. This is not a in-house development by SAP itself. SAP Ariba has been developed by SAP Labs. SAP SRM has been developed by SAP Labs. It's in-house development. This is not an in-house development. SAP basically buyed out these Ariba solutions over there. Exactly. In the management, you will learn about something about called as organic growth, inorganic growth. Same thing over here. This particular product has not been developed by SAP itself. SAP bought the fully packaged solution over there by what? By taking the ownership of Ariba. That is why. Exactly. So if you're coming from ERP background, SRM background, these things will not make sense. But now you are understanding why it is making sense in Ariba. Previously, if you would have looked at this particular solution, you would have said, this is a worthless solution. What they are doing, Ariba people are foolish, but they are not foolish, guys. They are very clever over there. and they know about the business. That is why they have able to design the solution in such a way. So once we are having that particular knowledge for ourselves, then only we can decide it that okay, this is a good product. Excuse me, guys. Now in downstream, if you go over there, basically we will say operational procurement. Okay, operational procurement basically means what? In short, in short, purchase equation creation, then the PR approval, then what will happen? PO will get created. Very good. After PO is getting created, it will be transmitted to the supplier account in Ariba network. Against this particular PO, supplier will basically create ASN, advanced shipping notification. This will get replicated into Ariba buyer. Exactly. So there basically what will happen is like receiving or ACS. Receiving basically stands for GR. And ACS, I think all of you know, service center sheet. So whenever you are having material, there you will have this receiving over here. If you are having service product, ACS will be coming up over there automatically. And remember guys, there is no concept of document type over there. So please don't expect material PO, service PO. No, only one PO. If your product is having material, this particular option will come. If your product is having services, ACS will come. Plain and simple. Keep this thing in your mind. Don't basically mix up the process. Okay, after that, what, Manoj? Basically invoice will be created by the supplier in Ariba network. It will get copied into Ariba buyer. Very good. Now once this particular invoice comes into Ariba buyer, from there IR will get created. Invoice reconciliation, two-way check or three-way check, PO value, receiving, and the invoice is generally checked over there. Once everything is correct over there, what will happen? Reconcile status will come, and then the payment will happen. And the first issue which all of you are going to, when we will go into this particular session, I will say to all of you guys, the first issue which all of you are going to face over here is like you are expecting that all of this whole process is happening in Ariba buyer as well as Ariba network, and that's a wrong what you can say expectation. Why? See, you are having a helicopter and a car. Think of yourself as Mukesh Ambani. Okay. So, do you think Mukesh Ambani, whenever he will travel from his home to office, he will take a helicopter? The answer is no. Why? Because helicopter is basically expensive, guys. Maintenance of the helicopter and upkeeping of a helicopter is much expensive compared to the car. But then why he has a helicopter? Whenever he will need the helicopter for some urgent work, then he will use it. Exactly. If he's not having urgent work, then he will travel by normal car only. Same thing over here. If you are saying if you will do all this particular process in Ariba, then what is the usage of integration? Because all of you are going to jump up when I will say integration. Oh, Manoj, yeah. So this is basically, guys, am I audible to you?
Yes, Manoj, you are audible.
Yeah. Thank you, Edaj. Yeah. Now, yeah. Thanks, guys, for the confirmation. Thanks, Edaj, for the confirmation. Yeah. Now let us talk about the things. Now, integration. Yeah. Integration. Everybody is going to jump up and say, "Hey, this is the thing. How we will do it?" But integration means what? Integration means we will use the best of both world. That means when in urgent situation we will use helicopter, when in normal situation we will use the car. Same thing over there. Integration basically means master data integration, transactional data integration. You will see there is no hard way, guys. because you will see you cannot force a one solution to all the clients, but you will see there are certain pre-optimized solution. What do you mean by, Manoj, by the pre-optimized solution? That means, as I said, urgent helicopter, normal car, same thing over there. You will see that in P2P process, that means in downstream process, the integration will happen in a different way. But there also I will talk about pre-optimized way. That means what is the optimized way of doing the integration. Similarly, for upstream also there will be different thing, different solutions over there, integration. Very good, Manoj. So the first thing is like you have to understand this particular thing which I have highlighted. Just a moment, let me just highlight once more. This thing which I have highlighted over here, guys. Uh, this particular thing, please don't think everything will happen in Ariba. Although Ariba is capable of handling all this thing within Ariba itself, but if you do that thing, it's a standalone system. Then integration is equal to 0. This does not happen. Keep this thing in your mind. Now, very good thing, Manoj. But now, yes, commodity code will be used and we will use UNSSPSC commodity code. See, those things are a little bit technical things, guys. And we will see and understand those things in our detailed session. But in today's session, basically, I want all of you to focus on the big picture of the project, big picture, solutioning part over there. Yeah, technical things and all those things we are going to see in our different sessions over there. Exactly. Now, very good, Manoj. What other things are basically we are going to see over here? But before that, going into the other things, you have to remember one more thing over here, guys. That is, once you are going into this particular PR, how the purchase equation will be created. Where the purchase equation will be created in downstream only, but how it will be created? So you will see this particular process is running, but albeit in a different way. Why is that so? Because all of you should know PR is generally created from catalog items. So within the catalog item also you will have, sorry, if you are using the catalog items basically which you have loaded in your Ariba downstream catalog section to create this PR and doing this whole process, this is a separate process. Similarly, through the contract compliance also, this contract will come from upstream to downstream, right, guys? So we have all forgotten that particular thing. So we will also use those particular contracts which have been created in upstream and which has been moved into downstream through the help of contract compliance. Now using this particular contract, we will do this particular process. Okay, and we know that this particular process is going to be repeated till the end of time until and unless the whole value of the contract is fully used up or the expiry date of the contract is came over here. So what's the meaning of this process? If you go to a project, you will see P2P. P2P basically means procure to pay. This is what we call as procure to pay over here, guys. Which one? Catalog items. Very good. But this particular process which we have seen over here, this is called as S2P. Manoj, what is this S2P? Because right now, if you go to any job offerings or any project, the first thing which all of the clients, what you can say, different people, they are going to ask to all of you are what? That are you having knowledge in S2P? Can you implement S2P? What do you mean by S2P? S2P means source to pay. And the major important thing about S2P is the funny thing you will see in P2P, everything is happening in downstream. Very good. But if you look at S2P, the process has not begun from downstream. It has actually begun from upstream. Why? Because we are beginning our process in downstream through the contract. But the contract was created from where? Here, right? The contract was created from the sourcing project. That means S2P process, source to pay process, is basically part of your upstream plus downstream, both. Exactly. So keep this thing in your mind. Until and unless you are knowing that S2P part, is part of both upstream and downstream, and P2P is only part of downstream, you will always falter. Now, why I am talking about this thing? Because of one thing, that is integration. In integration, all of you will basically say, Manoj, show us the configuration, and I will say that is the last thing which you should learn. Why? Because in integration, the major important thing is, if you look at these two process, guys, P2P and S2P, basically which I have defined right now. Excuse me, guys. Do you think the integration scenario for the P2P process and the integration scenario for S2P process are going to be same? Exactly. No, not at all. The process will be very, very different. The integration scenario is very, very different for P2P and S2P. So that is what I'm saying over here, guys. So in our session, basically, we will show you first how to build the integration scenario. Because at the end of the day, let's say when you're going for a architecting part, let's say you want to basically architect and basically build up your own house, where you're going to begin first? The roof, the walls? No, you're going to basically begin from the base. Exactly, because your base will determine all the other things. So same thing also about integration. That means if you are able to build the integration scenario means what? How the process flow will happen, which transactional document will be created in upstream, which transactional document will be created in downstream, which transactional document will be created in ERP, how the data will flow into, from one system to another, when the data will flow over there. This is what you call as integration scenario building. This is the major building block for any integration. This is what we are going to make all of you learn. Once you learn this particular thing, then the rest easier thing is basically what? Config setting. That also we will learn, and we will also learn mass data load. Now I'm not talking about only SLP mass data load. There are other mass data load basically which we have to understand this particular thing. Now there are some configurations also which we need to learn over here. That is basically, we will basically learn the template config. We are also basically going to learn the downstream approval workflow. Yes, and that particular upstream workflow approval, I am sure that all of you will ask, Manoj, what about upstream approval workflow? That is already present within the template. Okay, downstream approval workflow, we are going to see the config. We are also going to see the dynamic approval also over here. Very few people know about this dynamic approval. Most of them know about the static approval only, but we are also going to see how to configure the dynamic approval, what kind of requirements will be used up and how it will be used up. Those things also we are going to see. We're also going to see catalogs loading. Exactly, catalogs config. And upstream basically means everything is having template, sourcing, project, contracting, everything, and within the config only everything you can do over there. Exactly, you don't have to do any other configuration. And apart from that, there is a certain thing which basically I want to highlight over here, guys, and that is reporting. I have literally seen in the project, and I was actually was like, I was not, able to laugh also over there. Exactly. Why? Because I have seen over there in big projects, what is happening is like one Ariba functional consultant is sitting over there. They are downloading 20 reports or 50 reports each week, by manually running the report in a Excel format. Within the Excel format, basically what they will do, they will apply their what? They will basically apply their uh, custom logic, custom formula in a proper format. They will basically design that particular Excel, and then they will send it to the client, client's higher management, because they are the end user for the reporting part. Manually doing this thing, and I'm like, what, Manoj? uh, we know that in reporting, in ERP and in SRM, we need a evapor, right? So evapor basically means technical code changes. So in Ariba, as you said, technical things we cannot change. Only SAP Ariba can change that particular thing. So that means we have to pay to SAP Ariba to change the source code within the reporting, and that my client is saying that they don't want to pay money for that. So that is why we are doing it. And I will say, who told you guys? Who told you? Yes, I do understand standard reporting features are present within the, or standard reports are present within the Ariba functionality over there, but Ariba has given us the full freedom to do what? To basically configure these reports, not only in the selection screen, but in the output screen, but in the filter logic, the output field, add custom formula over there, add custom field, anything. Apart from that, I will also show you one thing, guys, in our session, that is how to automate this report. Automation of report means what, Manoj? That means your end user, higher management, don't have to log in into Ariba. And without you doing a single task, yes, you have to do some configuration over there. Once the configuration has been done, what will happen is like you don't have to do anything, and your end user will get the report in a predetermined format within their email automatically. So when you have to come back to your report, when basically your client is asking that, Manoj, our logic is changing, then you have to come back once again for the configuration. So in our reporting section, this is the things which you are going to see. So functional configuration plus what? Automation. That means no manual activity involved from the end user side, neither from the functional side also, once the config has been done. So both of this particular thing we are going to see in details in our sessions. So all of you, if you look at this particular what uh, content and the things which we are basically shown over here, guys, you will find it very, very uncommon. Why? Because this is not a end user training. Exactly, this is not a end user training. This training is for all the Ariba consultant guys who basically aim to go and work in a project. Okay, and we basically have a diverse candidate from our sessions, in our sessions. Yeah, diverse candidate. So basically what we will do is like we will use simple things. Yes, beginning of our sessions you will see we are basically using the basic knowledge. As see in our thing, old product, new product. Why I have used this terminology? Because all of you can understand this particular thing. Then once you understood the thing, then I told you, okay, this is the technical term, catalog item, non-catalog item. So the same thing. So yes, we are having a diverse candidate within our sessions. Some of them are already working in Ariba, some of them are very new, some of them are like having good knowledge in Ariba also. So what we will make sure is like we are using very simple, we are using a very simple presentation, simple way of giving the information back to you over there. Okay, and focus on the project work, how basically you are going to approach Ariba from a project point of view. And that is the secondary thing. Main thing is how are you going to learn Ariba so that you can use this particular technology, knowledge, and go to your project and start working. That means learning as well as working in your project. This is basically our approach. So that is why our approach is very, very unconventional over here, guys. It's not like okay, process flow, only process flow, configuration also we will only show the option. No, we are going to list down that these are the different set of requirement which your client will basically give it to you. So once they give the requirement, you can understand, okay, so in this way basically we have to do the configuration. This kind of requirement is there, so we will do this kind of configuration. So that is how we are going to approach in our sessions, guys. Exactly. Yeah. And I think, guys, before we go ahead with the question answer session, I think it would be wise that all of you be a little bit more attentive, and Eraj will basically show you that apart from this particular sessions, there are also a hell lot of important things. That means the supporting documents and all those particular things. So these are also the things which all of you will get in our sessions as a single package over there. So I will suggest to all of you guys, please be attentive right now, because Iraj is going to show you that what are the different documents, what are the different things which we are going to share with you along with the sessions.
Yep. Okay. All right, Manoj. Thanks for that. Thanks for a wonderful overview of SAP Ariba, Manoj. Yep. So guys, I want your attention here. Like Kiran, Saeed. Yeah, please be attentive. Yeah, I'll be sharing my screen. Yeah. Can you see my screen, Manoj?
Yeah, Iraj, I am able to see your screen very much perfectly.
Okay. All right. So guys, here apart from the training, what Manoj is of giving here, we also do have like different ways of collaborating with you all. Okay, so all first thing, all the sessions which you are attending also going to be recorded, and we will be providing you the complete set of recordings. It's not only the recording, there are a couple of documents, not couple of, there are many documents which are part of the sharing. Let me show you one by one. Okay, so let me start in. So all the documents, the recordings, and whichever the sharings we do have will be shared through Google Drive. So you must have a Gmail address. We can share you the folder specifically. Let me open a sample folder here. Okay, and like previous session previous session folders, or previous batch folder, indeed I can say. Yeah, so here there are totally 7 folders which will be shared with every one of you. First is session recordings, access, Ariba access, notepads, documents, certification material, learning hub, videos, and also we do have the sample Ariba CVs. Let's go one by one here. Okay, in session recordings, all the sessions which you are attending also going to be recorded, and we are going to place them in this particular folder in a very systematic way, so that in future, if you want a reference, or during the week, I mean, like, this is majorly is going to be the on the weekend sessions, right? So during the week you can refer back the sessions multiple times, and you can note down all your queries. And if at all you are having any of the very important queries, you can reach us in between, like you can email us or you can call us. We'll be helping you out to clarify your doubts also. So these are the recorded videos of your session. The sessions which you are attending will be shared with you. Now the second part is Ariba access. Yes, we'll be providing the access to every one of you who are our participants, 24/7 direct access, not going to be through either Teamweaver or any other thing. No, is going to be your direct access, what we are providing to you, and the access is 24/7 for 60 days. Okay, uh, so that you can make use of your uh, uh, access for a betterment. Like, I mean to say, like, it's not limited to 1 or 2 hours. So whenever you have the time, you can just pop in, you can just log on to the system, and you can do the practice. Okay, so that makes your hands-on abilities and your hands-on things more efficiently. Okay, so this access is there. And also we do have like notepads here. Notepads are, and this access is for 2 months continuously. We are going to have it, and this is not a shared access, so every one of you are going to get the access from us individually. Okay, yeah. So I can see one question, is the access will be admin access? Yeah, so you see, access will be, yes, of course, is going to be an admin access. Core admin access will be providing to you, but not the super admin. In the sense, with this admin access, you can do all your work, in the sense like you can configure the templates, you can uh, create the approval process, you can do the approval process properly. It's like how you are working as it is, but it's not going to be a super admin where you can't create the users. Okay, you can't create another users, but all the things, like all the practice whichever is being shown in the sessions, you can do it by yourself again with this particular access. Yeah. Now the second part is notepad here. Okay, notepads are like Manoj is showing here, right? He's open a notepad and he's showing the processes. So like this, for every session we do have a different notepads. The methodology of the sessions here are, first we are going to discuss little on theoretical aspects, in the sense like we are just seeing the process first. You need to understand the process first, what are the different steps involved, and you need to understand the scenarios. So these processes and scenarios basically we are going to discuss in the notepads. Then after that we are going to do the configurations, so that it would be a better understanding for every one of you. Okay, so this is the method we are using. First, a little bit of theoretical part, then we are understanding the process, business scenario, then we are doing the actual configurations. And the first and second part would be very little. The major part we are focusing on the system only. Like complete configuration will be almost 70 to 80% of the time we are spending on the system itself. Yes. So like that, we do have the notepads for everything. Are there process flow charts? No, you see, like different, let's say for example catalog is there. Okay, you can prepare on your own if you want it. You can prepare the process flow chart by yourself, but once you attend our sessions, you will understand there is no such need of creating a building blocks like how we used to do in engineering, like flow charts and kind of things. There is no necessity of those particular things. Okay, you'll understand we have a better option, better approach, rather creating the flow charts. Yeah.
Just a
So
moment,
apart
just
from
a
that,
moment here, over
yeah,
here, Raj. Just a moment.
yeah,
Sorry to cut you in over there. So, guys,
no problem.
the thing is like the flow chart basically is not required. Why it is required? Basically, you will see that if you're going through theoretical session, they will give you this particular PPTs, right? The PPT that we have shown in today's session at the beginning of the session. But all of you can see that particular PPT, you're not understanding it fully. Why? Because if I draw a simple flow chart, it is not easy. Why? Because the same flow chart you will see will get failed in one client, it will get implemented properly for another client. So why? Because there are variation in the flow chart, because there will be different sub branching over there, and that sub branching and all those things, if we do, it is impossible to capture each and everything within the document. So that is why we are going to see it in the system. That is why Iraj over here said that we are going to talk about the scenario first. Why? To understand what can be the different clients requirement over there. So once you understand the scenario and the requirement over there, then basically we can devise a solution over there, and when we will devise the solution, then basically we will show you how it can be done in the system. So in this way, basically you're learning the things which you're talking about flowchart, you don't need it. You're learning the same things within our system only, and once you learn that particular thing, you can very easily implement that in the system. So you cannot have to say that okay, I can work only one section of client, for the other section of client I cannot work. You can work in any client over there. Yeah, please go ahead, Eraj, over there.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, Manoj. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now the fourth folder here is like documents. So in which you'll be having the documents we have segregated here, upstream, downstream, and integration documents here. Okay. So these are the documents which are the standard documents and the configured documents which is being prepared by Manoj. So standard documents in the sense like there are a lot many documents which are there provided by SAP. Okay, so these documents are also there. There are certain documents which are standard which are being prepared by Manoj. Okay, so like that we also do have like the documents for downstream here, and also we do have for integration. Okay, these are the standard documents which we are going to share with you immediately after you do the enrollment. Okay, now so from first to fourth folder we are going to share with you immediately after the enrollment. Okay, now the fifth folder here is like very important, which is certification. Okay, certification documents. So certification documents are basically those any one of you who are willing to write the certification in SAP Ariba. Okay, before that let me already open a tab here. Okay, you can see SAP Ariba is offering totally 9 certifications. You can see from here Ariba catalog till Ariba integration. Okay, there are totally 9 certifications which are being offered by SAP Ariba. Okay, so it's not like you need to be necessary to have all these 9 certifications. most of the consultants will have 1 or 2 certification. One is from upstream or one is from downstream. That's more than enough for them, and it depends upon like in which project they are going to have it. And if you're not involved in any project, we always advise you to go for, you know, the certifications like SAP Ariba catalog, which refers to the upstream part. If you are also okay, you can go with SAP Ariba sourcing, and for the downstream SAP Ariba procurement, this certification, this code is more than enough for you. Okay. And the training what we are providing is basically covering all these certifications, both theoretically as well as, you know, in practical manner as well. Okay. So if any one of you are willing to write the certification, this training is also going to be very helpful, and we have very positive results of you know, the participants who has appeared for the certification exam after the training. Okay, because not only the training, also we do have the set of all certification material. Okay, so these are the set of material what we do have here, and we do have the dumps for the certification like sourcing and procurement certification dumps also we do have, and we do have a lot of other supporting documents here which will be really helpful for you, all the certifications. Okay, all the certification material we do have here, so which we can share with you so that it would be easier for you to clear your certification exams. Now after that, even we do have this one dumps as well. Dumps in the sense these are not going to be the direct dumps, I'm going to say, because you see most of the people claim that you no need to, you know, prepare so well for the certification. We are going the set of dumps, you just by heart those dumps, you can clear your certification. There is no such thing, guys. So the dumps which we are providing are only the references for you. Okay, what kind of questions are appearing here, you can gauge the toughness of the questions in the these certification exams we are appearing. So this is going to help you in a way like you can gauge yourself, your knowledge, where exactly you're standing, whether it's the right time to appear for the certification or not. So that one is going to help, but there is no guarantee like the same questions are coming over here. There may be certain questions will be repetitive, but not all the questions. Only with these dumps is never advisable to rely on the dumps and you know, think of clearing the certification. That's not going to happen. So like this, like we do have so many, you know, supporting documents for certification in certification material folder. Now the sixth folder here is like learning hub videos. So in learning hub videos, I think every one of you little aware of what exactly is a learning hub. So SAP has provided a complete learning hub clouds you know, offering there, in which SAP is giving the trainings. Okay, SAP's training videos also we have downloaded from here, and we made it available for you. So these are the videos which are basically uh, from SAP trainings, directly SAP trainings. So these videos are more towards theoretical aspects, and these are also going to help you if you're at all like if you're willing to appear for the certifications. Okay, now the last folder here is like sample CVs, because you see every one of you you know, coming from a different background, like some of you are coming from side and some of them SRM, and some of you are not having any SAP experience, but you are having a very sound very sound procurement domain experience. So it's a variety of resumes are available here with different experiences like 3 years, 4 years, 5, 6 years of experiences here, and we made it available in this one so that you guys can tweak your resume according to your experiences. You can take certain points over there, you will get an idea like how you are going to build up your resume in a basic level. Okay, once you build up resume according to your experience, you are going to share your resume with us. We are going to review everything, we are going to do the proofreading, and we are going to write the unique points over there, because in one batch we'll be having approximately 15 participants. So all of you are using the same points. It's going to be, you know, uh, everything is going to be same in all the resumes, right? So we will take care of those things, and we'll prepare a unique resume. We'll take a pen to prepare the unique resumes for you. Okay, that's also going to be one of the offering here. So apart from these guys, we also do have like WhatsApp groups collaboration here. After, you know, 80% or after the finishing of the course, we are going to create a WhatsApp group where all the batch members, like your batchmates, will be part of that group, and also we will be there in that. So whenever you are having any issues or any queries, you can discuss over there, even after the training I am saying to you. Okay, that group is going to be lifelong, and these particular folders, I mean like G Drive access will be there for lifelong. We are not going to revoke. Only the thing is here, SAP Ariba access will be there valid for 2 months. Okay, that is 60 days. Apart from that, all the folders are available for you lifelong. Indeed, like we are going to add a few more documents here, as you know, there are certain new releases, or there are certain upgrades are going to happen. So we are going to add up some more documents or necessary, you know, recordings also over here. Okay, to help you out to be upgraded. And also you'll be collaborative with us for in WhatsApp group, and we'll be helping you out in posting the job requirements, or there are certain openings are there, you can share among yourself. Yeah, so that's going to be the things. So now this particular batch, the one which we are having right now, will be on only on the weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, and the timings would be 7 p.m. IST to 10:30 p.m. IST, only on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, and the next session is going to be, the first session is going to be the next Saturday. Okay, next Saturday would be the first session, and during the whole week you can enroll for the course if you like it. And if you are having any queries related with the enrollment or any other things, you can connect me, or you can connect our sales team over there. And the next batch tentatively will be starting from 1st of August. Okay, I mean, like this batch only, the first session would be there from 1st of August, we'll be starting it. Okay, so yeah guys, this is my say. Manoj, I'm done. Now we'll take up the question answer session. So guys, request you to raise your hands so that we'll answer your queries one by one. Okay, please raise your hand so that we'll get an indication like who wants to ask the question. Deepak, you are asking certain things while the session was going, so I'm unmuting you first. I'm going to unmute you first, so please come up with your question here. Deepak, you need to unmute yourself. Deepak, are you there? Deepak, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, so guys, if you want to unmute yourself, I think you can basically see within the go to training app, there will be just a mic button over there. So it will be coming up with a cross over there. Just click on it, and you know it will automatically get, you will be automatically getting unmuted. So you can ask your question from there.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Deepak, I will be coming back to you. You are already unmuted from our end. Whenever you are ready, you please unmute yourself. You can speak out. Yeah, meanwhile, we'll take Ashish. Ashish, please go ahead.
Hi Manoj. Hi Raj.
Yeah, hello Ashish.
Thank you Manoj for the nice overview session of Ariba. Actually, I have few questions here. Maybe in the interest of the candidates, I may not ask all questions right now, but I would ask few questions and then maybe I will come back for some questions later on. So probably my first question is so right now in SAP in S/4HANA they are coming up with the central procurement solution. Okay, and central procurement solution, and as we know that S/4HANA is going to be on the cloud solution, and even the central procurement will be on the cloud. So so I got to I'm hearing from few colleagues from SAP Labs that, and also from the Ariba colleagues, that down the line SAP may even stop Ariba solution because they are building their own central procurement solution to deal this solution or the capability which currently Ariba is having. So what is your take on this, Manoj?
Okay, so first of all, you need to look at SAP's roadmap. Now, if you look at SAP's roadmap, see, there is a lot of myth over there, because people generally who is having a good idea on this part, they will not basically say this information. They will just keep mum on this particular point. So basically the people who will look at the particular myth over there, so they will discuss it. But before that particular thing, just look at Ariba's, Ariba's, as not Ariba, just SAP's procurement roadmap over there for the next 5 to 10 years. If you look at it, S4 HANA is not a full-fledged cloud solution. You can say S4 HANA comes in two flavor. One is on-premise, another is on cloud. Now, if you go into the implementation phases with the clients over there, they are basically SAP already know which particular version is the winner. 95% of the client who are basically moving to S4HANA platform over there, so basically they are going into the on-premise. 5% or 6% of the client are basically moving on cloud. Why? Because ERP on cloud does not give any what you can say significant gain in process versus ERP which is on premise over there. Why? Because most of the master data are to be maintained in ERP, and if those master data are present within the cloud and maintaining those particular thing, it's a great deal of risk. That's the first thing. Second thing is like it's easier to maintain a ERP solution within the on-premise system only. But if you look at LOB, so SAP basically calls this kind of cloud solution as LOB, line of business. Ariba is the procurement. Okay, for the HR it is success factor. For the sales it is basically Hybris. Okay, so Concur is basically for the time and expenses and all those particular things. Fieldglass is basically for advanced services procurement. So these are all called as LOB. So if you look at Ariba's roadmap for the next 10 years or 15 years, what Ariba is saying is like we are having a ERP solution over there. We are going to give it in two flavor, but SAP already know that ERP on premise is always going to be in touch. Now remove that ECC 6.0 to S4 HANA over there. Still, it will be on premise. Very few clients are going to use on cloud, and those clients who are basically using on cloud ERP, they are not basically going to use any of the LOB solutions because they're very few in number over there. That's the first thing. Second thing, if you look at the focus on the 95% of the customers of SAP basically who will move to this S4 HANA on premise, and those who have already moved, they are going to use LOB solutions which are basically cloud solution like Hybris, Ariba, and all those particular things. So if you look at Ariba over there, whether it's a central procurement or not, Ariba is going to basically survive on this part. Why? Because one is a ERP. ERP is a master of all, or basically you can say, a jack of all trades, master of none over there. Okay. But if you want to do a good procurement, if you want to do procurement from a much efficient point of view, Ariba is going to be the thing. Same thing. HD is also present within ERP over there, but the same amount of business process, if you want to do it in a very easy way, you have to go to Hybris. So that's the thing. So if you look at this particular whole architecture as well as their roadmap for the next 10 to 15 years, what they are basically saying is for ERP, we are going to let our customers move from ECC to S4 HANA. Most of them will move into the on-premise, and for LOB solutions, basically we are going to branch them out to the different cloud solution which SAP has acquired them over there. So they are not competitive in nature, or you can say like competitive in nature, but basically you can say complementary in nature, which will complement each other.
So you mean to say that the central procurement solution which SAP is beta version is already released in the market, that is basically taking care for S4 HANA on-premise solution.
Exactly. So basically that is not for the on-premise. See, think of it like is there, right? So is present in where? Is present in ECC. Okay. ECC in Okay. So if you come to the S4 HANA, what they are doing is that previously it was sourcing and procurement. Now basically what they are doing is like they are adding a little bit of new functional process, and they are calling it as central procurement. But actually it is procurement. If you look at this particular thing, this is nothing but procurement over here. Now the thing is like, how can they induce their customers who have not moved from ECC to S4 by giving all this particular thing? And S4 comes in two flavors. One is on premise, okay, and another is on cloud over there. Okay, so it's not only for on premise or not only for on cloud over there. This is going to be present for both of them. But remember, it's just like is in ECC, similarly central procurement is in S4 HANA. So remember, it's just a one of the module within the S4 HANA over there. But remember, if you want to do LOB kind of procurement with the advanced procurement over there, with very much ease in process and everything, you want to do it advanced control, you want to do it on the procurement, then you have to use Ariba. So that is what SAP is focusing on. They have to basically move their client from ECC to S4HANA. For that particular thing, they are doing this thing. But Ariba is going to stay over there. And I can say with lot of confidence over there, because let me tell you, I have a lot of friends, especially from the US side, because Ariba is not generally handled from Germany. They are basically generally handled from the US over there. So basically, those guys are actually product development manager. So right now, SAP is planning to keep Ariba for the next 15 years at least. Then they are going to basically think about it. Why? Because right now they are not going to go ahead, just like from ECC to S4 HANA they went, right? They are not going to move ahead with S4 HANA to something other version. So that is what they are looking for. This, they are basically looking for a hybrid solution where S4 HANA mostly will be used by the cloud, client by the on-premise things, and LOB will be based on the on cloud versions over there.
Okay. And if we have S4 HANA on cloud, then also Ariba can be used.
Exactly, it can be used, but same way over there you have to remember helicopter is a very fast thing, but remember helicopter can be used only in urgent thing. Why? Because it's expensive to maintain over there. Similarly, if you want to move the S4 HANA to on cloud, one of the major issue which all of your client will face is like what the big clients will do. They will take the ERP and they will modify it like anything, right? With their
Yeah.
technical consultant over there. Now, if you move to on-cloud solution on S4 HANA, so immediately SAP will basically say source code belongs to us. Why? Because you are not using your own server. That means you cannot change anything. So tell me how many clients will be they can use procurement with the standard things with some amount of configuration, but how many of your client is going to basically say only 25 to 30% of customization is allowed for ERP? Are they going to agree to that? I don't think so.
But Manoj, what I'm seeing is currently like most of the clients nowadays, what they're doing is they are going with S4 HANA implementation from ECC 6.0 to S4 HANA, and they are doing the installation on Azure cloud.
Yeah.
So this is a kind of a, I can say it's like kind of a hybrid scenario, right?
No. This is not a hybrid scenario. This is basically called as private cloud over there. This is not public cloud. So
Okay.
still, it's still, it's on cloud over there. So they can do some customization, but up to a limit over there. They cannot breach a certain percentage over there. So most of the big companies, if you go, you will see 80%, 75% of the customization is in ERP. They cannot achieve it on cloud, whether it's on private or on public, does not matter.
So for these kind of customers, if they want to move their procurement from SRM, for them central procurement
Exactly.
is good or Ariba.
Exactly. Now remember over here, here you have to remember and SRM was never it was never in conflict with each other, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So Ariba is basically a replacement for SRM. SRM is an on-premise solution, so they are replacing this on-premise procurement with that of a on-cloud procurement over there. So basically, central procurement is not a replacement for SRM; it's a replacement for in ECC side. Right now, because ECC is being replaced by S4 HANA, so is being replaced by central procurement over there. Ariba, on the other hand, is basically replacement of SRM. And if you ask any pre-sales consultant who are coming from SAP side over there, and you ask them, is central procurement a replacement for SRM? They will immediately say no. It's a replacement for So what is the replacement of SRM? Ariba. That is what the roadmap of Ariba is. SAP is there for the next 15 years.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now coming to a content question, Manoj. So in your notepad, you had shown if you go up a little bit.
Yeah.
In the sourcing part, you showed tendering, RFI, RFP, and auction. RFI, RFP, auction. So I will compare with SRM. So in SRM, we have both bidding as well as auction feature functionality. So do we have bidding functionality in Ariba?
Bidding is basically what? RFI or RFP, right? RFI means bidding means what? It can be a technical bidding or it can be a price bidding or both,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Same
yeah.
thing over here is in coming in the RFI or in RFP format. So these are only the bidding process. So always remember, bidding process basically means what? At the end of the day, it's tendering.
Correct, correct.
So
Correct.
yes, it is available also here in Ariba. The only terminology is RFI. Even if you go to SRM, it is called as RFX. X is for
RFX,
I.
yes.
Yeah, X is for I whenever you are doing a information, and whenever you are doing a Q, that is request for quotation. That means when you will ask for the price, that is called as RFQ. So replace the RFQ with RFP, and RFI is equal to RFI only over here.
Okay. And what about the two bid or the envelope bidding option for the public sector functionality SRM had? Is
No,
that
no, not
functionality?
directly. Not directly. Indirectly, it has. Ariba also has the concept of envelope. You can basically use envelope over there, but this will depend upon your configuration in the template. You have to enable that configuration. But the only thing is like which all of you have to keep in mind is like it's like not one after another. So basically, in one phase, that is in the response, when supplier is giving the quotation over there, so what they will do is like they will give the technical response also over there, price response also they can do. You can remove the technical response, that's a different thing, but both can be given. So it's not generally one after another, but both can be submitted at the same time, and when you are going to open, it will open at the same time. So the only issue which you're going to face is RFI first, RFP next. Basically, if you want to do it, that means technical opening first, then price opening. So that particular thing cannot be done within the RFP itself. The particular solution which I have given is from RFP. But if you want to do it like that, you can do it in a very simple way. First, do the RFI. Okay, then basically take all the information from the RFI and move to an RFP over there. So that means basically in RFI you have done the technical bidding, and in RFP you're going to do the price bidding. So instead of two-part bidding in a same document, two documents will be created, one for technical, and from there basically you can create a price bidding. So you can say that both of the things can be done. It depends upon your configuration options. So if you know how to do the configuration template within the sourcing part, you can do it.
Okay, okay, Manoj. My another query is, does Ariba has the functionality of clause library and contract authoring? I'm
Yeah, yeah,
comparing here with the e-sourcing functionality of
yeah. It is present over
CLM or
there.
e-sourcing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is already present over there. But remember, the only issue is like those things are only present in DFS. In ECA, the funny thing is like, there is a different way of using this particular thing. You will see in ECA there will be different way. Why? Because you have to work with the word file over there. This is not, in basically if you're working in SAP products over there, can you open up a word file over there and do any changes within the system? No. So that
No.
is why you're having a clause library and all those things. Same thing is also, same limitation is also present in DFS, but in ECA the major functionality is like you change the thing within the document word file, and those word file will be automatically uploaded in the system over there. So that is why in ECA they have basically simplified the process over there. So in ECA right now, if you go over there, clause library is not directly used here. Basically a document integration with word file and Excel file is done over here.
So I'm not talking about the contract document attachment. I'm talking about more from the clauses in terms of like based on different plant company code, you can set up
Yeah,
different
yeah, yeah,
conditions,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. That
Like in
particular thing, yes, that particular thing can be done within the template configuration itself. That means basically you are saying there are 100 basically terms and condition, and what I'm going to do is like first 40 conditions, first 40 clauses, that means terms and condition, is going to appear when region is equal to India. The
correct.
next 60 will be appearing when region is equal to US and commodity code is equal to desktop. This kind of thing can be
Yes.
done within the template. So that is why I said ECA configuration is totally different from DFS. Why? Because DFS is mostly kind of that of ERP over there, but ECA template configuration is totally different, and here you have to know each of this particular option.
Okay. Okay, so you mean to say that you can upload all the clauses at
Yeah,
one go, and
yeah.
then when I'm
Control
creating
their
the
visibility.
when I'm creating the contract document, at that time the
The
process is
condition.
smart enough to pick the correct document
Yeah,
automatically.
yeah, the process will automatically pick it. Why? Because we have done the configuration within the template. See, I have given the option, right? Region is equal to India. The second option is region is equal to US and commodity code is equal to desktop. So when you're
Mhm,
creating the contract, if region is equal to India, the first 40 conditions will be picked. And if
mhm.
the region is equal to US and the commodity code is equal to desktop, the next 60 condition is only going to be visible. But this will depend upon your configuration.
Mhm, mhm. Not
Clause
only
library
visible,
over there,
not
right?
only the visibility, even the document which will be received by the supplier, he should get that correct document. So the document generation.
See, first of all, document generation, remember, document generation over here in ERP or basically SAP and Ariba is totally different. You will see that when you will go to the contract over there, it's not like that of ERP or SAP over there. Why? Because here you are getting the document directly from the template itself, and there only you are basically attaching the condition. So here Ariba, what they will say is like, if the input is correct, then you do some data operation, the output will always be correct. But if the input is not correct, then basically you have to do a lot of configuration to control the output. So that is why Ariba's methodology in ECA, that means the enhanced contract
Mhm,
authoring, is very simple. Put all the filters before the input. Now if the file which is coming at the input level is correct over there, whatever data processing you are going to do it, the result will always be correct.
okay, means in the end, even the document generation would be dynamic. The
Exactly.
output, the contract output document which will be received by the supplier will be the correct output. Will be.
Exactly. No, 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 not only that, at an input level only the base document is correct over there. Okay, so
Mhm,
if the base document is correct over there, you're going to add some more contract specific terms and condition. That's a different thing once you
mhm.
add it. But remember, the document which is coming over there, it is by default coming as correctly over there. You don't have any issue over there. Why? Because if the input is correct, output will always be correct. So here Ariba has used this particular terminology in ECA. Why? In SAP it's a reverse engineering kind of thing, so that is why they have to do a lot of configuration to control each and everything.
Okay, okay. Okay, Manoj, I have few questions more. Maybe for the interest for other participants, I will come later. Manoj, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
problem. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah,
welcome.
Akshay. Yeah, Akshay, please go ahead.
Uh, Hi Manoj, hi Raj.
Yeah, hi. Yeah,
I have a lot of questions, but I will restrict it to three.
no problem.
I'm from SAP background and having three plus years of experience. And will this course be beneficial for me? And add on to this, how can I relate SAP Ariba with my previous experience, like having knowledge of S4 HANA and ECC?
Okay,
And
so first of all,
what type of configurations are there in Ariba? Hello.
okay, okay, yeah, 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 Akshay. So basically, let me just answer your first query first. Okay, first question, then we are going to take your second
Mm,
question. Okay, meanwhile, so
mm,
first of all,
yeah.
MM knowledge you're having, that's very good, and this is a very good question which you've asked. And let me answer to you, not only to you Akshay on this
Mm,
part, but this is an answer to every participant who are basically participating in our session. So if you are having knowledge in your MM, well and good,
yeah.
but remember, the knowledge will be up to a certain level
Mm,
on the process. The configuration which you have done in MM is totally worthless over here. Why? Because the architecture of
okay.
MM over there and the architecture of Ariba, I think within the overview session only you have understood that it's totally different. It's totally different.
Yes.
So what will happen is like, you can say the process flow knowledge from the MM side will help you in learning Ariba over there, but you have to think of it like, okay, only the process flow knowledge, rest of the configuration, how you're going to design the solution, how you're going to configure the solutions within Ariba over there, this particular thing if you're focusing on, so you have to learn from scratch over there. Why? Because Ariba uses different technology,
Tech-
it uses different architecture over there.
Okay. Like P2P knowledge is beneficial for me from background.
Exactly. See, it's not only P2P. You can
Hello.
say sourcing, contracting. Yeah, yeah. Akshay, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, Akshay, what basically
Yes,
I'm saying over here is like, yeah. Thanks, Akshay, for your confirmation. So basically, Akshay, what I'm saying is like, if you are having knowledge on the side, then on the process flow side, both in upstream and downstream, you are having good knowledge over there. It's not an issue. This is what you will find common between Ariba and over there. But the configuration, the designing, and all these things, this particular thing you have to learn in Ariba from scratch, and not only for you, for any consultant who basically, or SRM consultant, they want to move into Ariba over there, they have to learn the designing of solution, the configuration of solution, the integration of solution as totally different. So you have to learn all these three things from the scratch over there.
Okay. And what is in like how we move the data in Ariba? Like, is there in TR process? Is there, or
No.
some
In Ariba,
different things are
basically,
there?
not the data. You can say like how to move the configuration changes. So in Ariba, there is no concept of
Yes, yeah.
transport request. Yeah. So there is no concept of transport request. Why? Because TR or transport request is basically part of your on-premise solution when you are having on-premise solution. Here, basically, you will see when we will go to the template configuration and all those particular things, there will be an option to import the changes or import the config over there, sorry, export it over there. So we will
Okay.
export it from one system and we will import it into another system over here. That's
Mm.
the first thing over there. Data, we have to do configuration in
Mm.
a different way. That means if we are having development system, we will connect it with the ERP system to do the integration. Integration is a totally different thing. If you are basically asking how to move the configuration changes from one Ariba system to another system, that is basically you have to export the configuration changes in one file, one zip file, and then import those
Mm.
particular changes into
Mm.
another Ariba system over there. In this way, your configuration can move from one Ariba system to another Ariba system. If you're talking about integration, then
Mm.
basically for your development system, you have to basically connect your development Ariba system with that of development ERP system. Same for the quality, same for the production.
Okay. And one more question. Like
Yeah.
you said, there is only PO, nothing special like subcontracting. Nothing is that.
Hmm.
How, like, there any number ranges for the PO,
Yeah.
GRN,
Number.
and PR?
Yeah. For every transactional document, you will have a number range over there that has standard number range. You can basically change the
Mm.
number range also as per your requirement.
Okay, okay. That's it for me. I have a lot of questions, but I'll ask it later on.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Akshay.
Satish?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Satish, yeah, would you please go ahead with your question? You need to unmute yourself, Satish.
Satish, I think you need to unmute yourself from the GoTo Training app over there.
Yes, you have unmuted. You can speak out now. Yeah, please go ahead, Satish. Okay, I think if you are having any microphone issue, you still can type your query in the chat window over there. So that, yeah, we can hear you now. Please go ahead. Satish?
Hello, Satish.
I think he's having some issue with, yeah. Hi, Satish.
No, Iraj, I think he's still having some issue, I think, over there. Why?
No
Because we are
problem.
not able to hear him. So, Satish, you can do one thing. Just type in your query within the chat box. I think if there is some issue with your microphone, what will happen is like, your voice won't be able to, audible to us over there. So you can just type in your query in the chat box over there. We are going to read your query and we are going to answer you back over there. Or else you can connect with a new microphone over there.
Yeah. So meanwhile, if anyone else are having any queries, please raise your hands, guys. We are open to answer any type of your question. Yeah, Rachna. Yeah, Rachna, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Manoj. This is Rachna here. So I have two queries. Like I have spoken about Ariba to few people. So they, mentioned that Ariba has a very less scope for customization. Like in SAP, when we are working in SAP, we have like full option to customize as per the requirements coming from the client. But here in Ariba, I have heard like most of the customization, Ariba does not gives you full authorization to the customer for customization. Ariba itself does the customization. So
No,
is it so
actually,
about
actually,
this?
actually, Rachna, it's not true over there. I will say this thing. Why? Because see, like let's say you are a batsman, right? Okay, so if you are used to batting in the Indian subcontinent region over there, you will say, okay, this is a very good batting pitch over there, right? Now once you go to the Australia or England region over there, so there will be a lot more, lot more grass over there, so you will face a lot of challenge. So what you have to do is like you have to basically change your technique to bat over there. Same thing over there. See, whenever basically ERP consultant, or that means SAP consultant, is basically moving into Ariba, what they are thinking is like this is a basically a product which has been developed by SAP Labs using the same what you can say, same way of configuration, same technology, same architectures. Okay, so what they are expecting is like their expectation is like whatever I have done in or in SRM before, in the same way we are going to do it in Ariba. But then again, it will fail. Why? Because right now the pitch is having lush green grass over there, and the ball is swinging like anything over there, so you have to take all this thing in the account and then you have to bat over there, right? So the same thing over here, the technology is different, the architecture is different over there, so you have to take this thing in your account and then you have to move. I will tell you over there, Rachna, that the same thing also came in my first project and second project in my mind. Third project, my eye was open literally by this solutioning part. Then I understood, and basically you will also understand one thing over here, that Ariba gives us, that means Ariba
Mhm.
functional consultant, a lot more power to configure everything. But we have to know where is that particular configuration option, how it is going to change the business process over there. You will see, excuse me, most of the configuration can be done by us. Even in our session, we will tell you this kind of issue is coming. So most of the time, normal Ariba consultant will say, hey, we cannot do this configuration because that is not available. And I will show you that configuration. It is available over there in the system, but only you have to understand where you can find that particular kind of thing. So yes, if you need to change a source code, like adding a custom field in the database, now that particular thing we cannot do. Why? Because we don't have access to it.
Mhm.
Because it's a server which is, or data center is being made by, maintained by SAP Ariba itself, so they will not give access to it. That particular thing we cannot do. But tell me, Rachna, over here, not only for you but for everybody in your project, okay, custom, addition of custom field, creation of custom field, very good will be there. But is it the only thing which is there in your project?
No, it's not that the only thing
Exactly.
we have in.
Yeah. So basically, what we have to do is like we have to implement the business process and we have to do it. So yes, I do agree with you that 10% of the technical things like creation of custom field, addition of custom field, some validations, okay, extra validations
Mhm.
which will require source code changes. That 10 to 12% of the thing has to be handled by SAP Ariba, but 88% of the thing will be within our hand. So in this sense, I will say 88% of the things can be done by the Ariba functional consultant with the help of configuration. Okay, and the 12% of the things, or 10% of the thing, that has to be done by SAP Ariba support team. So yes, you're correct. 12% of the thing will be done by SAP Ariba support team.
Mhm.
88% of the thing will be done by us.
Okay, so that means like for a functional consultant, or like as I'm a functional consultant basically. So for a functional
Exactly.
consultant as an IT consultant, there is like huge scope for getting involved with different requirements and customizations to be done in
there
Ariba.
is there is no huge scope. You can say basically we are the only one in the
Oh,
project. There is no basis consultant, no security consultant, no technical consultant. 12% of the work we will basically outsource to basically the Ariba shared team over there. 88% of the work will be us. So you will be having 3 to 4 Ariba consultant in one project. These are the guys who will working from the service provider. That's it.
okay, okay. And like my second question regarding the content which we went through regarding reporting. So reporting, we will be learning this in like upstream part or downstream part, or is it like
Ah,
different?
reporting is a mixture of both. it's a kind of like khichdi. Okay, khichdi basically means but a mixture of everything over there, right? So same thing over here. Reporting basically you can say it's a mixture of both upstream as well as downstream. So that is why you will see reporting when I will be doing first, I will complete the upstream, then I will complete the downstream, then we will go into the reporting section. Then only it will make sense over there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay then. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Rachna.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks, Rachna.
Ahmed is waiting for so long. Yeah, Ahmed, please go ahead.
Hi, Manoj. Just
Yeah,
on the
hello, Ahmed.
integration. Hi,
Yeah.
Raj. Just
Yeah,
on the
hi.
integration part of the Ariba with S4 or any backend.
Yeah.
What is the technology that we would be using for integration?
Now this particular thing, I know there is a lot of things, because most of the Ariba consultant right now, they will say CIG, Cloud Integration Gateway, for using the integration over there. But you will see, remember in our session we will see a little bit on CI9 also, we will also see CIG also, and then we are going to do a versus CI9 versus CIG. You will see in certain section CI9 is pre-optimized more than CIG. In another certain scenarios, CIG is much more pre-optimized than CI9. So both of these
Uh,
things we are going to understand over here.
Ahmed, would you be on mute, please, because the sound is getting echoed. So when you are having, want to speak, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, please, Manoj.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks, Siraj, and thanks, Ahmed, over here. So basically, this is what we are going to see: CI9 and CIG both.
The other question, I'm slightly confused regarding Ariba network buyer or supplier and Ariba buyer.
Yeah.
So there are two. So in a technical way, there are two different HTTPs, and
Yeah.
where does Ariba network actually sits in? Is it a consolidated place for all the supplier list to be managed in a single place for a particular buyer, or is it more a open world network?
Okay. So first of all, for the time being, in today's session, I don't want to basically confuse you over here, Ahmed. So basically, I want to keep it in a very simple way. For today's session, you can think of it like Ariba network is a portal where basically supplier will log in, and once they log in over there, they can see all the transactional document which has been addressed to them. They can view it, they can create a response against all this particular transactional document, and they can also basically carry out their transactional activities against those particular transactional document which has been sent by the buyers. This is Ariba network. That is the main meaning of what you can say Ariba network. But yes, why I have talked about another thing, that is Ariba network is currently having 3.6 million suppliers. This is a very big repository on the certain other things, because I am saying of Ariba network with respect to Ariba discovery over there. So when we will go to the sourcing, not sourcing, actually onboarding of supplier phase, at that particular point of time, I will say that Ariba network can be used to do what, to basically onboard new supplier if you want. So that is why I said 3.6 million suppliers already present over there. If you want to onboard some new suppliers, you can use Ariba network to view all the other things. But remember, that cannot be done in login into supplier.ariba.com. So supplier.ariba.com, that is Ariba network, will be used by the supplier to do the login and carry out their own transactional activities. But another feature of Ariba network is integrated within the Ariba discovery, where you can onboard new suppliers and you can basically deal with them. That is why I said two different things over here. So another thing is Ariba discovery, one is Ariba buyer over there. Sorry, Ariba network over there.
So is Ariba an umbrella, or is it
Ahmed, can you just repeat your query once?
is Ariba then is just an umbrella covering Ariba buyer and Ariba network or Ariba supplier?
So basically you can say one of the application, just like when you will basically buy a Google Suite application, what you will get over there, you will basically get G Drive access, you will get Gmail access over there, you will get map access, all these particular things, right? So if you talk about Ariba access, so if you're talking about Ariba access, so within the Ariba access, you can say Ariba buyer is one, Ariba network is one. These are all basically different application for the whole Ariba ecosystem. That's it. But remember, Ariba network is used by the supplier, Ariba buyer is basically used by the buyer over there.
So just from the cloud side, is this private cloud, or is it treated as a public cloud?
No, first of all, remember this is this is not from a S4 HANA perspective. See, in S4 HANA, you can say it's a public cloud or a private cloud over there. But remember, in this scenario, Ariba does not give the option for private cloud or public cloud over there. Ariba will maintain all this particular server over there, and basically you have to buy extra storage if you want to create more transactional document within your Ariba buyer system. You have to buy extra storage, but remember, you will not have any ownership for that particular data center. Yes, you will be having the ownership of the data over there, the configurations over there, and for the services also over there. But remember, or you can consume the services, but remember, ownership of data center cannot be there. So that is why the concept of public versus private cloud does not come in Ariba. It is only present in S4 HANA over there.
So when we buy the Ariba product, is it again, it's a realm based, right? So, and then it has got the whole dev, QA, and then prod. Is there a limitation on getting the number of realms, or is it based upon the licensing?
No. Becomes, basically you have to remember that Ariba is an on cloud thing over there, right? So it's an on cloud thing. That means its subscription over here is very different from Ariba, from ERP over there. So Ariba subscription basically depends on the solution which the client is buying, the number of document which is going to be created over there, because as it is going to take the space within their own data center. Okay, that's the second thing. And third is number of sites. So you can have 20 number of sites or 50 number of sites if your client is willing to pay that particular kind of money. So generally it is 2 to 3 maximum site basically which will be used by most of the client. Okay, and if they want to go ahead with 510 also, they can go ahead, but remember, they have to pay much more. So it's totally depend upon the client how much money they are willing to spend over there. So based on these three factors, Ariba will charge a subscription fee to the client.
So if we have to do any kind of data migration into Ariba, then by the licensing part of it is just the
No, data
bare.
migration, basically you're talking about movement of master data or transactional data, and from where? From ERP only, right?
So in any transition project from ECC 6.0 to S4 HANA and S4 HANA on-prem using Ariba as the procurement to S2P as the process for as a product that they want to use, then in that case they will be moving all their vendors, they will be moving their POs, IRs, GRs. So
Okay,
that sort of
so basically
migration.
remember, so basically you're talking about both master data integration and transactional data integration. So remember, it has to be in two-way format. The first one is initial, the second one is incremental over there. Okay, excuse me. Now remember over here, Riam, basically, yes, you can do it over there. So what you will do is like one system you're having for development. So in that case, the one development system of Ariba will connect to the ERP development system. One you're having for quality, it will connect to the ERP quality system. One you will be having for production, it will connect to the what you can say, like the quality system of production system of ERP over there. That's the first thing. Now second thing, if you are saying that I will have 910 VMs over there, so in that case you must have that many number of instances of ERP over there. Now you are having 3 instances of development, so basically you can create 3 different VMs for development, Ariba development. One Ariba development instance, one Ariba development site will basically connect with one of your ERP instance development. Like this, it can connect with multiple, one Ariba realm can basically connect with one instances. So you can basically create as many number of instances in Ariba which you want, depending on the ERP instances you will have. So in this way, basically you're going to move. The what you can say, like if you're looking at the data integration over there, the master data will always basically come in the parent realm. From there, it will basically flow into the child realm. And if you're looking at the integration of transactional data, integration of transactional data will always happen with the child realms over there rather than parent realms. Why? Because if you look at master data integration versus transactional data integration, it will always be cross variant specific data with that of general data over there. Site specific data over there.
Would we be covering all the integration points for with the backend ECC or S4
No,
using these?
we are not basically covering the realm concept over there. Why? Because realm concept, as I told all of you before, that this is a very important thing. But remember, this used to be part of our things in 2015-16. Right now, none of the client basically who is going ahead with implementation, they are moving ahead with realm. Why? Because they will not have different ERP instances over there. So if you're not having different ERP instances, the concept of realm will not work. And if you're using one development system, one quality system, one production system, there will be no concept of parent and child realms at all.
So we'll not be covering that.
Yeah, it's not required over there right now in the project. Yes, if you were in 2016 or 15, at that point of time, we could have covered it. Why? Because it was required. But in right now, if you look at, not right now, actually 2 years previously, if you look for it, there is no implementation like this which has happened where basically you are going to use realm based of thing. Yes, some minor things will happen, but you have, when you have to prepare yourself, you have to look at the majority of the thing that is the mainstream projects over there. Yeah, so that is what we are going to cover.
No, integration is going to cover. I want to make it clear.
Yeah. Integration is going to be covered. Yes, integration is going to be covered.
Well,
But realm integration, yes, yeah, those things is not required. Realm and all those particular thing is not required right now from the particular project point of view.
I think I've got a couple of more questions. I'll hold for now and I'll speak later.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there are a couple of questions in the chat window, Manu. So if you read it and answer, it would be better.
Okay, CIGB discussed. Yes, we will be discussing over there. Okay, integration scenario. Yes, there are a lot of integration scenario, guys. H2P is one of them. P2P is one of them. There are a lot of integrations. So we are also going to discuss about this particular thing. You have to also remember integration scenario is not only based on the what you can say, like only the scenario. It is also based on the solutioning part. That means upstream solutions or downstream solutions. So all of these things we are going to cover over here. Okay, and movement of configuration from one system to another, generally it is done by Ariba functional consultant, unless and until whenever your client has basically signed one thing. What do you mean by sign one thing over there? So basically your client has signed something with your with your Ariba service provider, that please take care of the transport of the configuration from one system to another system. So in that case, you don't have to do it. But if they have not signed it, then we have to do it, as I said, by the export and import over there. Okay. No, SCC, basically SCC is a different basically, guys, that's a different training altogether. That is generally coming in advanced Ariba over there. So my suggestion to all of you guys is to first learn about the normal Ariba over there, work in the normal Ariba projects, gain knowledge in that particular thing. Why? Because if you right now look for the current market over there, all these particular advanced things like RIAM, SCC, field glass is not part of Ariba. It's a different solution altogether over there. So these are basically coming into the excuse me, advanced part of Ariba over there. But first, my suggestion to all of you guys is get a normal Ariba project, start implementing them. Once you are having at least 1.5 to 2 years of exposure in that particular thing, then you can come for the advanced things. That's the first point. Second point is like remember over here, right now, if you look at the market over there, 84 to 85% of the market is still on normal Ariba. Only 15% of the market is still in advance. And that particular thing, yes, it is going to grow over there, but slowly over there. So yes, by 2025, you can say that 15% will go to 45%, but 25 is 5 years from now on. Plenty of time. Look at the normal thing first, then go into the advanced things. Exactly.
Yeah, is there any more questions, guys? So you can raise your hands so that we'll be okay. So we can take up some repetitive questions then. Yeah, Ashish.
Yeah. Hi, Manoj. Hi, Raj.
Yeah, Ashish.
Yeah. I have few more questions, Manoj. So you
Yeah.
talked about the transport of the TR into production,
Yeah.
or is taken generally by the Ariba colleagues, SAP Ariba colleagues. Is taken care by the SAP Ariba colleagues, not like in normal ERP projects where this is done by the implementation partner itself. Correct?
No. As I said, it depends upon the contract which has been signed between your client as well as Ariba over there. So in that particular contract, generally most of the time, what will happen is like whenever the multinational companies, they will go ahead with Ariba implementation, they will say, okay, we are going to pay 2000 more to Ariba over there, and Ariba is going to move all the transport changes from one development system to another development system and another system over there. So in that case, what will happen is like we don't have to do anything as a functional consultant over there.
Okay.
But if they have not done this thing, yes, some of the things will be done by our Ariba shared services members over there. Okay, so they will do some activity, but most of the other things is like we have to basically export this thing and import this thing to the another Ariba system over there. So that is, you can say 30% of the thing will be done by the Ariba shared services over there. 70% of the thing will be done by us if your client is not signing anything with Ariba over there. But if they're signing, 100% will be done with Ariba shared services over there.
Okay. So we will be covering also the transport movement. How do we do in Ariba from
Exactly,
development?
it's a very easy thing. It's a very thing. You will see that you're just clicking on one option and you're clicking on the export. A zip file is coming over there. Then you go to another system. That means in the production, only thing is like you will get import option over there rather than export over there. Just import it, done.
Okay. Okay. And what about the data loads in the production Ariba system is again taken care by the shared Ariba
No,
team,
no,
or
no,
is
no.
it done?
It will be done by us. It will be done by us.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Mass data load
Now,
is always part of our role over there, or basically our activity. It falls within our activity.
okay. Uh, now I have a question regarding the supplier where you mentioned about the ANID concept. So like in normal, if you have a global ERP instance, right?
Yeah,
So generally we have a concept of partner, maintaining partner for the vendors.
yeah,
Generally the company will keep one vendor number. Let's take an example. If we have a Dell supplier, Dell US,
yeah,
Dell UK supplier, then the vendor number would be the single vendor number, but we can
yeah.
have different partners for the same vendor in ERP.
Yeah.
Now, same
So
thing.
in
How if you
Ariba also it is done over there. Remember, what will happen is like you will have the same ANID for the particular supplier over there, but they will have separate login. Just like Accenture services over there. Accenture
Mhm,
services or Accenture Global Services Private Limited is basically your uh, supplier over there. Then you will have Accenture UK, Accenture US, Accenture India. So
mhm.
all these three contact person will have separate email over there. They will have separate logins, but their ANID will be same as that of Accenture over there. So these are generally called as the contact person concept over here in Ariba. So partner is equal to contact person in Ariba over there from the supplier point of view.
Okay. So, but when the buyer is creating the purchase order, then
Yeah,
if he wants to create, let's say for Dell US, then he
yeah.
would choose a different vendor number in Ariba, and if he
Nah,
wants to
nah,
create
nah,
for
nah,
Dell
nah, nah.
UK, then he will
So
choose
in that
different.
case, no, in that case, you have to use the concept of contact person, right? So this is where your configuration comes into the picture, that how you're configuring the solution over there. So the contact person, you have to set it correctly over there. You have to put a condition over there, and then that particular condition, when you are setting it up, it should pick up
Mhm.
automatically based on the region.
Okay. Okay. No, but my point is, in the system, in the Ariba system itself,
Yeah.
will there
Yeah.
be two different vendor codes for Dell
No,
US
only
and
one
Dell
vendor.
UK?
No. There will be one vendor code over there. As I said, Accenture is there, right? So
Yeah.
if your buyer is from UK over there, based upon that, the proper contact person will over there come. Accenture Global Services, then hyphen Accenture UK. If the buyer is from UK region over there, if they're ordering the PO. Similarly, if the buyer is from India, Accenture Global Private Services Limited hyphen Accenture India. Like this, it will come.
Okay. Okay. So they will have the same AN ID. Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at this particular thing, if you look at the supplier profile, you will see that particular supplier is having one supplier only. Within the one supplier, you will see multiple contact person. You log in into Ariba network over there as the main supplier as well as the contact person over there. You will see the same AN ID coming over there.
Okay. 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 Now I'm coming to the question of Manoj about the parent and the child RAM concept. So,
So yeah,
for like in my company, we have a global ERP system. We have a multiple
yeah,
ECC6, and now we are going for S4HANA implementation.
yeah.
Okay. Now,
The first issue which you're going to face over there is, like I will tell you over there, because in S4 HANA there is no multiple instances. There is one single database within which you have to basically move on over there. So yes, this is the first challenge which all of you are going to face over there, is like moving from ECC. Multiple instances will be there. You are covering it into
mm,
one system over there, right? So within
mm,
S4 HANA you have to basically design the solution in such a way that whenever some user is coming from a particular region or particular what you can say geographic location over there, some specific configuration should be put in the place through which the business validation, geographical based business validation will work over there. That's the first thing. That's the first thing which you have to basically do when you're moving from ECC to S4 HANA. That's the first thing. Second thing is, like, once you have done that particular thing, all the Ariba realms which you're having, you have to cancel it out. You will have only development, quality and production system over there. So basically all of these things will, development system will connect with the S4 HANA development, quality Ariba quality system or site over there will basically connect with the quality S4 HANA, and the production will connect with the production over there. So that is why I'm saying the child and parent realms, basically that particular thing has been made obsolete by Ariba. Why? Because your ERP is having a single instance and single database over there. So the parent and child relationship is of no use over there. And remember, this particular thing you should not handle it from Ariba point of view. This thing should be handled from a S4 HANA point of view over there. So that is why whenever you have to do this particular solution over here, keep this thing in your mind. These things has to be handled from the S4 HANA side, not from the Ariba side.
so meaning there will be only a single RAM over here.
Exactly. One realm for development, one realm for quality, one realm for production.
Yeah, this is fine, Manoj. But what about the parent and the child relationship? Like
It
for the
won't be there.
child relationship,
It won't be there.
this okay.
It won't be
But
there.
like as you mentioned, right? Child RAM is generally when we have a global ERP setup, then every child RAM is required
No, no, no,
equivalent
no,
to.
no, 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 no. It's not global realm. If you are having multiple ECC instances, like in development, if you are having 3 instances for development, what will happen? So then you have to use the parent and child relationship. But if you are having one ECC system, you are not having multiple instances, because in S4HANA there is no multiple instances, only one system is there for
Mm,
development, one for quality, one for production. So you don't have the concept of different master data, different child setup over there. See, remember, cross variant data and site specific data will only come into the picture when you are having multiple uh, data from multiple instances over there. You don't have that particular thing over here. So that is why there no concept of parent realm and child realm will come. Only one system will be present over there, and you will see that thing when you log in into Ariba over there at the top. You won't see any parent or child realms over there.
mhm, mhm. Okay, okay. I mean, the setup is different if we have a parent and child RAM setup
Yeah,
in case
setup.
if that's not.
Yeah, setup. Remember, it has to be different. Why? Because your ERP setup is different, right? So this particular thing is not Ariba specific thing. This is basically a limitation from ERP concept. Now, if you are using ECC 6.0 and there you are having multiple instances, this will happen over there. But as we know that most of the client is moving towards the S4 HANA, so there you don't have multiple instances, so single instance is there. So this concept of child realm and parent realm, this particular concept is totally obsolete when you will move to S4 HANA over there.
Okay, Manoj. Okay, got it. My Manoj, next question is about the qualification of the supplier in the SLP process. You mentioned that after the qualification of the supplier is done, it will be replicated to downstream.
Yeah.
So this replication to downstream, it happens automatically, or is there any kind of a batch up? Okay, it happens
It will happen automatically. Yeah, automatically, because there is a batch job over there. You don't have to, we don't have to schedule that particular batch job. That's a standard batch job over there. That particular batch job will take care of all this thing.
Okay. Okay. But before that, you mentioned that when we are doing the data loads, so generally we have the ECC or S4HANA integration in place, right? And most of the customers will generally replicate their existing vendors into Ariba process.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
when we do this, so will they replicate in the downstream or will they replicate to the upstream?
Now that's a very good question, and that particular answer I cannot give it in a what you can say, in a very small thing. I can say yes, it will be there, but if you ask me how, so in that case we have to basically go through all the steps of SLP mass data load. Then only you will understand. But the answer is yes.
So I mean, both in the downstream they have to do the replication, and the upstream they have to do the replication.
No, you don't have to do it over there. See, remember, in the mass data load, when you will do this particular activity, within that particular activity only, what will happen is like the automatically the supply will get replicated into upstream as well as downstream over there. But remember, you
Okay.
have to perform different steps over there with the SLP mass data load.
Okay. So meaning, if I understand correctly, you're saying that when I'm doing the mass data loads from ERP, I will do the replication of supplier
Yeah,
as it is. Then the system,
exactly.
Ariba system will take.
Because you have to remember, in ERP, do you have upstream and downstream solution? No,
No, we don't
right?
have. We don't have. Yeah.
So basically, if you create a supplier in ERP, can you say this supplier will only take part in sourcing project and contracting, sorry, in RFI or RFQ or contract over there, but cannot take part in PO?
No.
Exactly. So that means any supplier from ERP, when you are bringing it to Ariba, by default, they should be copied into upstream and downstream both. But if you're not doing it, then it is being done wrongly over there.
So okay. So now, so that is what I'm coming to. So then, how this qualification process extra will replicate to downstream? So this scenario can only happen if I am creating a new supplier in my Ariba system itself.
No. Why? Because your integration means what? Your data must be in sync over there. So whenever you're copying the pre-existing supplier from ERP, they can take part in your P2P process. They can take part in your sourcing and contracting. That means by default, they can take part in upstream solutions as well as downstream solutions in Ariba. So when you're replicating this pre-existing supplier, but if you just copy in upstream, if you don't copy in downstream, so that means what will happen is like none of the PO can be created in Ariba buyer, and it can be replicated, can't be integrated with ERP over there. So your process will totally fail.
No, Manoj, what I'm saying is, let's say if I'm having 100 suppliers in ERP system, I replicate initially to Ariba. So once I replicate these 100 suppliers, these 100 suppliers are both in the upstream and the downstream. Okay.
Yeah.
And since the suppliers are already well negotiated and everything is done, then I don't need extra qualification process.
No. Who said? No. Qualification by default means you have to do it. Otherwise, how come this particular supplier will be done in downstream?
But as you said that these 100 suppliers will be.
SLP mass data load means what? You will be working on the request, registration, and qualification process in a bulk of with a bulk of suppliers over there, but there will be different steps involved over there. Why? Because you're not working with one supplier, you're working with bulk suppliers over there. So that is your activity in your SLP mass data load. So yes, every request registration qualification is mandatory process, whether you are creating any new supplier in Ariba or whether you are creating any pre-existing supplier from ERP into Ariba over there. You need to do
Uh,
3 of this activity.
But client may say that since I am already having a pre-qualification with all the 100 suppliers, for example,
Hmm.
then why do I need to go through this qualification process again for Ariba?
No, client will not do this thing. See, we as a functional consultant will do this activity during our data cutover activities, right? So that particular thing, that is our solutioning part. See, the thing is like that particular decision is not from the client side. This is a decision from our side over there. That's the first thing. Second thing is like client will basically say this particular supply should be available in upstream and downstream both. That is their requirement. How you're going to design this solution, that's up to us or up to the Ariba functional consultant, right? So this particular
Mhm.
thing is basically designed by Ariba in such a way. So that is why we have to use this particular thing. So
No,
that's a
but
solutioning part.
the suppliers are coming into the interaction here when we are going for request registration and
No.
qualification.
Remember. See, that is why I'm saying that. See, just if you want the answer yes or no, yes, I can give it. But if you want to understand this thing, we have to go through this whole SLP mass data load. So unless and until we are not going into this SLP mass data load within that particular thing, so you will not understand. So this is what I said at the beginning only over there, that to give an answer yes or no, yes, I can do it. But to make you understand, I have to fully explain this SLP mass data load, and that I think is basically almost like a 1.5 hour session.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay, let me turn the question here. So let's say if
Yeah.
the client says I don't want to go to take SLP license for
Hmm.
Ariba. They don't want to take the SLP
Hmm, hmm,
module of Ariba,
hmm, hmm.
but they want Ariba upstream and downstream both for
Okay.
their
So in that case,
RFQ process.
you are just going to go ahead with this mass data load. Just a moment. Where is their mass data load? See here.
Mhm.
So you have to
So then
just work
only,
with one mass data load only.
okay. So then in that case, how this ANID will be then integrated for these vendors? Is there a
ANID
separate process?
basically, no, it's not a separate process. So basically, when you will onboard this particular supplier through this mass data load, all of them
Hmm.
will basically get a mail. They have to register in Ariba network. Once they register, automatically their Ariba network ID will come over here in Ariba buyer.
Okay, okay, understood. Otherwise, they have to go through the SLP process. Okay.
Not otherwise, it's not otherwise, and I highly doubt this thing, because right now if you go over there,
Mhm.
all the clients basically will choose SLP. Whenever most of the client will go for the upstream plus downstream, and they will choose SLP. Why? Because SLP basically simplifies this process, and they will have a lot of control over supplier rather than going ahead without SLP over there. So previously there was one module which is called as SIPM. Now SIPM is basically obsolete. SLP is the only module which is used for onboarding the supplier over there. Now if you don't want to use that particular thing, what will happen is like you have to depend on ERP to control all the suppliers. Now in this case, what will happen is like there will be data redundancies. So that is why most of the client, whenever they get a what you can say solution presentation from SLP point of view, they are very much interested in implementing SLP. So chances are, there are high chances that whenever you go for any implementation or in support project right now, which has happened during the last 2.5 years, and for the upcoming futures also, you're going to see SLP almost everywhere.
Okay, okay. And Manoj will be covering CPI, cloud platform integration as well.
CPI is basically part of your S4 HANA over there. Basically, what you wanted to ask is CIG, Cloud
No,
Integration
no, no,
Gateway.
no. CIG, I know. There is a
Yeah.
CPI also for third-party integration. Like for example,
No,
for invoice
basically
process.
it's not actually CPI. What you wanted to say over there is like basically there are Ariba APIs over there, right? Ariba APIs implementation. So Ariba APIs basically we cannot do that particular thing because it has to be done with the help of uh, Java developers over there. So that particular thing is like Java coding, which is required to be done over there. So those particular things are basically handled by the Java developers, right? We will not handle those coding part over there.
Okay, that is done through CPI.
Yeah, so that particular thing, so there will be a separate portal over there. Once you get that particular separate portal, that portal means like, you know, APIs, Ariba application programming interface will open up over there, and the Java developer has to write the code within that. We will not ever see that particular thing. Why? Because even if we see it, we will not understand anything over there.
For example, there are budget checks when creating the purchase requisition.
Yeah.
So budget checks done against the backend ECC or backend
Budget check basically, budget check is basically part of your web services configuration, right? It's not CPI.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's not CPI. So basically, this is a web service configuration, and web service configuration by default is part of your CI9 as well as CIG. By default, it is covered within this thing, and we will see this thing. So this is basically web services configuration. This is not CPI. CPI basically, or basically, as I said, Ariba API's concept over there. Ariba API's concept will be handled by the Java developer. We will just tell them, okay, this is the logic. They will write the code within that particular portal, within the, what you can say, like the Java coding over there. But this particular web services check or some real-time budget checks and all those things, these are part of your web services configuration that we are going to see anyhow over here in our sessions.
Okay. Okay. And what about, Manoj, the cloud connector concept, the location
CI9.
ID,
CI9.
location IDs, etc. Okay, that will come
No,
under.
not location. Basically, cloud connector means CI9 over there. So that is why I said CI9 versus CIG both.
Okay. 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 Thank you, Manoj. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, Ashish. Yeah. Iraj, can we move on to next participant, please?
Yeah, Manoj, yeah, there were certain doubts over there. So I want to make it clear to all the participants here. Apart from the folders which I have shown you separately, guys. So these are the, there are certain documents like which are called like Ariba latest documents here. So in which you see like we are just let me show you one configuration guide so that you'll get the clarity like how deeply we are covering, means like how much we are covering in CIG and this one. So you can see, guys, so this is the document which is being prepared by Manoj here, okay, in which like we are going to see everything. These are the complete steps involved in the integration aspect. So this is also been going to be shared with you guys. So in which like we are going to see not only the steps, but also you can see the relevant screenshots over there. So which type of configurations you are going to do and how you are going to manage those things in ECC side and as well as cloud connector side like SAP Ariba side, sorry, CIG side. Okay, yeah, you can see all the configuration, everything is there very step by step here with all proper screenshots. We have made it available over there. So this is something like a manual for the CIG configuration. So this is a very important document which also are going to be shared with you. So not only this one, so other documents like mass data loads document is there separately for this. So even CIG installation document is there, CIG standard configuration is there. So there are so many documents which are going to be shared with you, and all the documents, let's say for example, if I'm opening any of the document like contract management here in upstream side, I just want to show you. So these are the all the documents which will be there in detail. So these will be very much helpful for every one of you, so that like upstream, let's say for example, let's talk about reporting for example. Okay, yeah. So reporting also we do have everything in detail, like a very precise document, 44 pages only. And one more thing I want to highlight here is like these are very latest documents. Okay, and these documents are very difficult to get it anywhere. You can't search it in Google and you'll get it. So this is, you need to have a connect.ariba login to download this one. So we have downloaded these documents and made it available exclusively for our training participants so that they'll get more benefit. Same thing with upstream, downstream also the same thing. And also we are covering guided buying also here. So guided buying also one of the topic which we'll be covering here as well. So this document is also available, and all these are very latest documents here. Okay, and these documents will also be shared with every one of you. And not only this one, we do have all project related documents, like what are the best practices, okay, and also functional configuration template. Okay, how you're going to write it, means like design, means like document a functional configuration, okay, for a specific client, and all these things which are very hectic in doing the documentation. So these are also available here. And business requirement workbook, all best practices documents are made it available. These are the project documents, like what kind of documents you're coming across. These are also going to be shared with you, everyone. Okay, yeah. So that's it, guys. So is there anyone else like who are having any more queries, guys? If you're having any queries, please raise your hands. Even there are certain repetitive questions also, you can raise your hands. We are open to take any question. And there are certain queries here, Manoj, in chat window. If you like,
Okay. Yeah.
Does
Ariba does take care of version management. Ariba does take care of version management, both from a transactional document point of view as well as from a configuration point of view. You will see that particular thing whenever we are working with any transactions, different versions is getting generated over there. Okay, and the current most active version will be used basically for all the things. Similarly, for our configuration also, you will see we can create different versions. That means the last version which is activated over there, once we go into the edit mode, a new version will get created, and when we will activate it, the second version will become activated rather than the first version. So yes, it is also present over here in Ariba also.
Yeah. So there is one more question. I'll just read it for you. Okay. Are table important, Akshay? So are table important? I'm not clear with this question. So there are no concept of table.
I think she is asking about the database tables. So yes, database tables are important, but not important over here in Ariba. Why? Because this is not an on-premise solution. So since it's not an on-premise solution over there, we won't know what is the table name over there at all. Okay, so that is why the concept of tables, remembering the table names and the table fields, it's not of use. Why? Because we will never get access to that particular thing, like AC16, AC16N, AC11. These things we will not basically get access at all. This access is only allowed for the Ariba engineering team. That means Ariba employees who work in the Ariba engineering team, they will have that thing, but we will not have that access, neither the client, neither anybody from the service provider team. So that is why remembering the table names and all those things is not possible at all in Ariba. So it's not of much important.
Is the planned company code data available in upstream while creating contract?
Okay, so first of all, remember over here, company code, yes, it will be available. Plant, it is not required. Why? Because plant basically we will cover in our downstream over there. Remember, these particular things, basically company code, plant, GL account, cost centers, all these things, these are generally assigned to the buyer profile over there. That means buyer attribute over there. So once a buyer gets this particular attribute assigned within their profile, so whenever they are creating a transactional document, automatically it will come over there. But remember, most of this thing, cost center, GL, these particular things are downstream specific data. So when they will create this PR, from there PO will get created automatically. This thing is going to be transferred into a transactional document from the buyer profile only. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Manoj. Yeah. Now, guys, if you are anybody having any queries, please raise your hands. Otherwise, we can conclude the session for the day. And the next session is going to be on 1st of December. Sorry, 1st of August. So, Ashish, yeah.
I think there's one question from Ahmed over here. Do you have a master data like on-premise vendor? Basically vendor means basically supplier. Yes, almost the data, you can say almost it will be same, but certain variation will be there in the process over there. Similarly, materials on the other hand, basically yes, it will be present, but in a different way over there. So similarly, remember, as I said in the beginning of our session, I was basically talking about products. Why? Because product basically means materials and services over there. So why I was saying this thing? Because I think all of you will basically ask me, Manoj, what is about direct procurement and indirect procurement? Why? Because most of the consultant, they think direct procurement means material procurement, indirect procurement means service procurement over there. But in Ariba, the definitions are quite different. So that is why I wanted for all of you to remember the product basically means materials and services over there. And there is no concept of document type within transactional document. But if you look at the master data, yes, you do have all this particular data present within the CSV file.
Yep.
Pricing configuration. So I think on this part, remember, we are going to see the tiered pricing concept over here. But remember, tiered pricing is generally captured in the contract compliance. Before that also it will be captured, but ultimately within the screen as well as in the database level, we are going to capture the tiered pricing within the contract compliance itself. Yeah. Ashish, can you please go ahead with your query?
Yeah, Manoj. So it's just a follow-up question about the contract thing.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned that plant data is not available in the upstream. So my question is, like in ERP on SRM, generally the contract for the contract company code plant is the mandatory attributes which are required to be used as a source of supply. Now, if the plant data is not there, then how this will be
It's a very good question over there. Yeah, it's a very good question over there. So if when you are going to do the configuration over here for integration, remember, try to think on this part. Many Ariba consultants say that whenever we are using the contract, we will use the contract where? We are creating the contract in upstream, and then we are using the contract compliance to move the contract from upstream to downstream. So can you move the contract into ERP? Think on this particular part. Why? Because if you say yes, I can move the contract into ERP, so in ERP you're consuming the contract, and downstream also you're consuming the contract. So contract value by default is $1 million. $2 million you have basically used for that particular contract. So always remember, when you're using contract compliance over there for the contract, automatically contract will move into downstream. So you will have the replication at a PO point of view, not from a contract point of view. That is what which you will see in H2P process over there. But if you look at only upstream, now here, if you are having only upstream over here, so what will happen is, like, you will remember in this particular integration, what will happen is, like, Ariba will by default provide a default plant over here. Why? Because in that case, plant will not be available in your Ariba. Why? Because downstream is not there. Your client is only taken upstream over there. So that is why always remember, in the standard integration, what Ariba will do is, like, Ariba will basically give a logic over there automatically in the integration. Not Ariba actually, this is basically the add-on software which will be implemented on the ERP side. That particular software will basically give a default plant over there, and it will get created. So in this way, generally things happens over there. So you have to remember the process, the scenario plays a very important role. We cannot assume this particular thing will happen over there. Why? Because till now, I think most of you were thinking that through contract compliance, we will move the contract from upstream to downstream, as well as copy this contract into our ERP as well. But it is never going to happen like that in your real life project.
So Manoj, does that mean when the contract compliance is process is used, at that time we introduce plant somewhere in that particular contract? Because
within the
otherwise,
contract compliance itself, you will introduce the plant.
Yes.
And it will come from where? It will come from the buyer profile. So whenever you're creating a contract compliance, you have to, whenever you will create it from your profile only, the plant is automatically going to get assigned at the contract level over there.
But then in that case, that contract will be used, let's say a buyer belonging to plant 1000. Okay. If that buyer, let's say buyer ABC is their buyer who belongs to plant 1000. Now he does the contract compliance. Then he can, so any
Now
buyer
this is a
who
very good
belongs.
question. It's a very good question. You will see there is another master data in Ariba downstream, that is purchasing unit. See, in ERP, generally plant plays an important thing, but in Ariba will say purchasing unit plays a very important thing over there. Not plant, not company code, not purchasing organization, not purchasing group. So you will see that is why in downstream, when we will go over there, we'll ask what is purchasing unit. And most of you will say purchasing unit is equal to purchasing organization or purchasing group. Actually, it is not. So in Ariba, downstream, everything when it is basically designed, it is designed based on the concept of purchasing unit. So in the purchasing unit, this has to be designed by the functional consultant based on the client's input. Okay, and once you have designed it over there, then you have to assign it to each of this particular user level. Even though plant is coming over there, remember in Ariba downstream, the group of user, actually why we use plant and company code to basically to segregate a group of buyers, right, or
Correct.
purchasers.
Right.
So basically the segregation in Ariba downstream will happen from the purchasing unit point of view, not from the plant over there. Now I cannot basically go into too much on the purchasing unit because he will not see any purchasing unit over there because it is highly technical in nature. But
Mm.
I will say over there, plant is one of the parameter for determining a purchasing unit. But there are also a hell lot of other parameters which will also decide the purchasing unit.
Okay. Okay. So basically, purchasing unit plays a key role in Ariba for the creation of the purchase order, for the contract to be used as source of supply in the downstream. So
Exactly.
as many purchasing units are assigned, if there are multiple
Yeah.
purchasing units are assigned to
Mhm.
while doing the contract compliance, so all
Yeah.
those purchasing unit buyers can consume that particular contract as a source of supply.
Now this is a thing again. What will happen is like the concept of purchasing unit is not so simple. Why? Because within the purchasing unit also you will have parent and child purchasing unit over there. So this particular relationship you have to design. So that is why I said it's a part of the solutioning designing process. So that is what we have to learn within the purchasing unit. Then only we can say that okay, we are ready to go ahead with our solutions. So these are the things which you have to do over there. So that is why I said, like whenever we are learning or basically transitioning from ERP to Ariba over there, most of the things is like we are going to learn it theoretically, but in practically what will happen is like it will be a totally different thing. Now all of you are coming ahead with the concept of purchasing unit, you're understanding what is the meaning of purchasing unit and why purchasing unit is important. But if you go to any Ariba theoretical books over there, purchasing unit will be just a half a page of thing out of 1,000 pages.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, but it is, those particular thing we do cover in our sessions, but remember one after another so that we should be sim in a very simple way we should make everything digestible, and then we should raise the complexity step by step. So that is why you can say like today is basically, you can say, this is the initiation which happened in our demo overview session. Then from session 1, session 2, session 3, what will happen is like you will see it's a simple sessions only, but the complexity in each session will be rising. Session 2 will be a little bit more complex than session 1. Session 3 will be much more complex compared to session 1. Like this will happen over there.
Okay. Okay, Manoj, thank you.
Yeah, welcome Ashish.
So, all right, guys. So, thank you so much, and I hope like everyone of your queries have been answered very properly. Yeah, Ahmed, you are having some query. Yeah, please go ahead, Ahmed.
Sorry, Manoj, on the once we have got the goods invoice received and following to it for the payments,
Hmm.
are we going to integrate with finance for the AR part?
AR.
Sorry, AP part,
Accounts
accounts
receivable.
payable.
Acha, 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 acha. IP. So basically, yes, remember in that particular thing, this is a particular point of view. This is a very important question over there, because you have to remember in Ariba Pay, when you will use the Ariba Pay to do the payment, only the supplier payment will happen, but finance posting will not happen over there. So that is why we will always do the payment over there. We will integrate the payment option within ERP. That means whenever we are carrying out the whole process, procurement process in ERP, the payment will happen in ERP and the posting will automatically happen over there. Only thing which will happen in Ariba is the status update, whether the payment has been successful or it has been failed over there.
So is the payment document being posted back in FI for as is used for integration with finance?
No. See, remember, what will happen is like what we are going to do is like in our normal projects, when the IR has been done, okay, then what will happen is like we are going to trigger an integration event. Within the integration event, what will happen is like the payment information will be sent to the ECC over there. Payment will happen as a batch payment over there in ERP. FI posting will happen, and then the status update from our ERP system to Ariba will come over there with the help of another integration event, and it will update the status. That means whether the payment has been done, on what date the payment has been done, if it is failed or rejected over there, this information will come to our Ariba over there. So this is basically part of the integration event which we have to configure over there. There will be different web services over there. We have to basically activate it over there. Once it has been activated, then only it will work properly.
So in that case, the actual integration is the configuration for the actual integration is something different than the event triggering part.
No, event triggering. See, the thing is like, remember, you have to do the configuration in two things. One is in Ariba system, another is in ERP system, right? Both of the two things you have to do it over there. So triggering also, you will basically do it. First of all, how this particular triggering will happen for transactional data, it will happen automatically. That's the first thing. Second thing is like, when this particular data will be moved, generally after the transactional document has been posted. That's the first thing. Second thing is like, generally after what duration the data will move from one system to another, it will depend on your configuration. That means how you're scheduling your job to run.
Okay. And all those configurations will be covered in our course.
Exactly. So that is what I said over there. Remember, there is two integration over there, not one integration. Why? Because you have to do the configuration from ERP side as well as Ariba side. So both of these two things we have to see. Yeah, and we will see that thing.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. So if anyone are having any more queries, you can even still connect to me. I hope like every one of you are having my mobile number with you, whether for any technical part or any the topics what we are covering. Also, you can connect to me directly. Okay, we'll be very happy to help you out. All right then. So if you are keen to enroll for the entire course, you can connect to our business relationship executives. They will be helping you out for the further process. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate all of your patience, and it's a very interactive and very good session. And thanks a lot, Manoj, for your knowledgeable
And
share.
hey Raj, one thing I think you forgot to, I think mention it over there. It's actually a full joint effort over there, right? Your effort, mine effort, and all our BID's effort over there. So it's a whole effort of the team. It's not a single person's effort.
No, because I really, we really appreciate and praise your knowledge on the subject and the grip in the subject. And we know like you are a, solution architect, so definitely you can answer the questions like very smoothly. Yeah, that's a very amazing thing. Thank you so much, Manoj. I have
Not
pinned
only
my.
that over there, but Eraj and to all the participants, remember it's not actually one person, guys. Actually, the whole team is working very hard over there. So you can see this particular result over there in our sessions.
Yeah, so we took
Exactly.
enough of efforts to design the contents as well here, so that each and everything should be covered properly, and there should not be any gaps once you are on board on any project or you are appearing for any interview. So that's the thing. So I have pinned my number over there in the chat window for every one of you guys. So if you are having any queries, you can reach me out on a direct call or on WhatsApp as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Manoj.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Eraj. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.